Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
I wanted this job bad because I felt like I knew this community. I played here. All right. Here's what I know. Just as an overall philosophy, you're going to say, well, what's this team going to be? What's it not going to be? Here's what I know. All right. I know that Detroit's made up of great people, some really good people. All right. This community is strong. This place has been kicked. It's been battered. It's been bruised. And I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that shit. So excuse my language. All right. Here's what I do know is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right. And the city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right. It's found a way to overcome adversity. All right. And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Man, I'm fired up. Woo! Welcome, everybody, to the Woodward Sports Pregame Show. Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs. You're at the right place. Here on Woodward Sports YouTube channel, we got a packed show planned for you boys and girls today. And I got a hell of a crew joining me as well. And don't forget to watch the long stream after the pregame show. It's going to be even better. So stick around for that. Joining me alongside my co-host for the Lions pregame show, Booner. Look at him decked out, Lions chain, Pistons hat though, which I'm not really.
This is the Booner Bets.
Not really understanding.
This is the Booner Bets fit right here.
Okay.
I filmed the commercial in this. I have to rock it. But everyone in this room right now, I just want you guys all to know, this is the greatest day of my life right now.
Absolutely.
I'm dead serious. This is the greatest day. This is the greatest day of my life. I love it. This is unbelievable. I can't believe that today's the day.
And I got to introduce the rest of the crew here in the TD booth. As you all know, that's my TD right there. Lucas Klutz. Lucas.
We are here, baby.
He's juiced up.
We're less than 2 hours from kickoff. 2 hours. I got cut. I'm ready. It's game time. It's game time, baby. We are ready to roll.
We wouldn't have a full crew if we didn't have my guy, BMG. Look at what the shades on, the Honolulu Blue
I had to
team.
match Booner's energy.
Let's go.
Boys.
Look at, we got BMG, we got Easy in the chair, just got wrapped up doing heavyweights. Look at Spenny's behind him too. Look at those two, man. What the?
Hey, is Mike G staying for the game?
There's a rumor he is.
Is Mike? Hold on,
Is Mike G
BMG.
staying
You can
for the
answer
game?
this for yourself.
Confirmed.
Oh, let's go! All right. And there you have it.
I'm not going to say it.
And those are just, by the way,
say it.
that's just people on camera. We got a ton more employees, our friends here hanging with us as well, so it's going to be packed. Co-workers, or as Chris likes to bring up constantly on the Woodward Heavyweights. Only guy to do that on the network still. But anyway, we got to get to a ton of Lions stuff. Like I said, we're going to go through injury reports, at least for the next about 5 minutes, kind of announce who's available, who's not available. And then we'll get into matchups, which I can't wait to do while Easy joins us. Also, later in the show, we're going to talk about who's going to make the biggest impact, who should make the biggest impact for the Lions offensively and defensively if they need a win. And speaking, if they win, is this game a must-win? And we're going to have that conversation later on in the show as well. And then, of course, our game predictions. And then I got my guy Booner, so you know what we have to do, right?
We've got the best bets. We
got to bring out the bets.
We're ready to go for open. It's not just the Detroit Lions opening night. It's NFL opening night.
No question.
So we're gambling on the NFL tonight. This is an all-in thing. All of the boys in here, we're all betting on the game for the live stream. I'm ready to go. I can't wait. We're going to have some bets for the live stream that you at home, you're able to ride and you're able to kind of enjoy with us. And we're going to win every single one. I don't think we're going to lose today. We won't lose today.
Well, We'll talk more about that. You know what helps their chances, right? Travis Kelce not being there. Chris
Yes,
Jones
sir.
already out of the football game currently, not expected to play. Travis Kelce, per Ian Rappaport, just tweeted out, Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelce is out tonight against the Lions. He made an effort, reported that he begged Andy Reid to let him play. Didn't work. The bone bruise, that's what he was diagnosed with, should not keep him out long term. But I said this earlier on the morning show, it's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
To not play Travis Kelce. You don't play another game till that next Sunday. Week 1 is not what the Chiefs should be focused on. It's when you get to the postseason.
Yep.
That's when you need Travis Kelce. You don't want to risk further injury. He will not be playing tonight officially.
Yeah, and I hate to say it like this is like a Lion, like as you know, we're all in Detroit right now, but like this game to Kansas City, obviously it's a lot bigger for people from Detroit. It's a lot bigger for the Detroit media and Detroit, everything Detroit. For Kansas City, right now, they just won a Super Bowl. They've won 2 in the last 4 years. They're not worried about Week 1 versus the Detroit Lions at the end of the day. They're definitely not. Obviously, they want to have a guy like Travis Kelce on the field at all times. But there's no reason for them to risk him getting injured for long term.
No,
especially when they're trying to win back-to-back Super Bowls this year. So the fact I kind of figured that. Even looking at sports books and everything else, you figured that he just wasn't going to play, and it would have been stupid for Andy Reid. Smart enough, it would have been stupid for him to even suit up and go out there and play.
Ridiculous. What do you think about it, Lucas? Now you got the shades on. This just in.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. But Travis Kelce being out is huge, but it doesn't affect the outcome, baby. Lions W.
Oh.
I think if anything, it just. I mean, obviously, this makes it a little bit more secure. It's all it does.
See, we're all on our high horse right now. I don't like how this is trending.
Like
I really don't.
Christmas,
We don't have the right to be on no high horse.
No,
man.
we do. We have been through too much as a fan base. We have been scrutinated with
this
Matt
day.
Patricia,
Scrutinated.
Bob Quinn, Matt
that one up for
Millen.
me?
Keep it like you can keep going. No one deserves this more than Detroit Lions fans.
No doubt, and I actually agree with that one.
Scrutinize was the correct word that should have been used there.
He said, we've been scrutinated for too long. It was passionate. I didn't want to. Hey, I wanted to let you cook. Listen,
appreciate
I let you cook.
I like those
You let me
glasses
run the
on
break
Lucas,
for a
too.
second.
Yeah, hey, that's it. Another player that is going to be ruled out tonight, unfortunately, but we kind of expected that easy, Emmanuel Mosley. But
Yeah.
I don't know. He didn't really practice. He hasn't practiced with the team at all. I mean, he practiced briefly, but through training camp, through the joint practices, you didn't see Emmanuel Mosley. So that one's not really a surprise, but
Yeah.
you're still confident in the secondary.
Am I confident in the secondary?
Oh, yeah. Come on, no Travis Kelce. No Travis
I
Kelce.
Honestly,
believe that.
yeah. Honestly,
There
yeah.
you go.
The piece I'm most excited to see is Brian Branch.
There you go. Another good one. C.J. Gardner-Johnson also making his debut. I
Yes,
can't
sir.
wait for that.
I'm excited for that.
Even though Emmanuel Mosley, there's no, I mean, he's, again, this is a guy who, when he was healthy, allowed under a 70 passer rating. So, guy can play. Lions are good, are better with him, but you can't deny without him. This is why you drafted a guy like Brian Branch. This is why he was so good in training camp that he forced the coaching staff to put him on the field.
Yeah.
Find a way to put him on the field. You sign a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson to play, to be your slot corner. You draft Brian Branch in the second round. He's playing this. He's playing in the slot.
You have to move
End
C.J.
of story.
Gardner-Johnson, one of the best in the game right now, and now you have Brian Branch, who's going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the season, one of the best in the game as well at that position. So I'm excited to see this secondary. You would like to see the full force Chiefs to see really what this secondary is about, but I do think there's a sense to where this secondary is going to be able to dominate, and if you get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, put him in tough positions, no matter what. They're going to have opportunities to get takeaways.
Right.
Brian Branch will, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they're going to have opportunities to go and get takeaways. And I know there's all these stats from Patrick Mahomes not getting an interception or whatever hasn't had an interception in week 1 in how long?
Ever?
Well, in his
Ever?
career, yeah, he's 18 touch. You know what? I'll get into that. I'm glad you took me there because I got some of these stats I want to read off for the people just to give some context on the game itself. Kansas City Chiefs have a 9-5 record all time, at least against the Lions. Mahomes 5-0 with Andy Reid in home openers. Like I said, over 1,500 passing yards, 18 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, 0. In a staggering, a ridiculous 136.9 passer rating. Jared Goff, just to give context there, 4-2 in home openers in his career, 1,500 passing yards, a little over, 9 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Mahomes has double the passing touchdowns that Jared Goff has.
Okay,
now, and there's some context there, right? A little different. And Jared, the last 2 home openers he's played in were for the Lions. pretty tough teams, 49ers and Eagles. So, we'll see how he plays there. Spenny just jumping in the camera there.
Jeff, there's a side of this, though, to where I actually do think, if we're talking about the Detroit Lions secondary, I think there's a better chance that we see Patrick Mahomes throw an interception tonight over Jared Goff.
Well, what's the C.J. Gardner-Johnson stat on Thursday night games? He's had an interception in all of them.
And every single one, but he's only played in 2
He's only
games.
played 2.
But the reason I say that, and
Easy,
I know Easy put his hands up. The reason I say that, though, is right now, Jared Goff, like following out from last year, is on like a historic path right now of taking care of the ball. Like he's like 30 completions away from breaking a record. And I get it. But whose secondary is better in this game?
Okay.
Seriously, whose secondary is better?
That's fair.
So
that's conversation.
If you have a guy like Jared Goff who's playing extremely good football, I know it's a new year, but he's still playing great football coming off of last year and like historically great from keeping the ball out of the other team's hand. And then you look at the two secondaries. I would have to, if you had to put a bet on like who's going to throw an interception, who would you rather, or who do you think would? I would have to give it to Patrick Mahomes, even though he hasn't thrown one week 1.
And I agree with that take, and I know Easy has something to say, so I'm going to let you speak on it too, because this is how I feel about the secondary. Brad Holmes built this secondary to take away the football.
Yes.
So if they don't do it, something's wrong. C.J. Gardner-Johnson led the league in interceptions, and despite not playing the full season. Cam Sutton, ball hawk as well. Kirby Joseph, up and coming. Like to call him a ball hawk, or at least he will continue to be in the NFL. Like, you have guys that can take the football away. Brian Branch, all around the football at Alabama. We'll see how that translates. But Easy, I mean, to say, I know it sounds crazy, but this secondary is built, man, to take that football away. They're going to need one tonight.
That part is 100% true. The secondary has been built to take away the football. You look at the Kirby Joseph from last year, led the rookies in takeaways. Then you move on to CJ who led the league in only 12 games with 6 interceptions. Cam Sutton, who led the league both in PBUs and interceptions last year. You're not wrong. It's just, you want to talk about history, Booner. I mean, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes here. We're talking about history. This guy may be like the best, if not second best to ever play the game.
Yeah, but it's like we're not sitting here saying that he's never thrown an interception in his life.
No, the 18-0 touchdown to interception ratio, that's going to end.
Exactly.
It is.
And if you break it down, this is a whole new season for that Chiefs offense. And at the end of the day, he doesn't have the weapons that he's ever had. He's never played a game without Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. Well, has he ever played a game stepped on the football field without one of those two?
Well, no, because the COVID year, I think.
that was 2020.
Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill was there.
He's always had a top 5 tool on the outside for him.
So when you have that, he can do everything he can, but he has weapons that the weapons he has aren't. I don't know. That's just
I'll say this.
I would take that side of it. Even if I wasn't a homer, I would take that side of it.
To be fair, Mahomes has never played a game without Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. Ooh. Now that's big, because again, you can at least try and control as much. Andy Reid has a lot of input on what they do offensively. He's really the play caller. Now, having Mahomes, even without losing a guy like Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid still has control. Mahomes still has control. They don't have control over the defense. Nope. Andy Reid he lets Steve handle the defense.
Spags.
He lets hell of a coordinator, by the way, but still, no Chris Jones. Like, Andy Reid can't fix that with play calling.
Yeah.
You can't. Maybe Spags can cook up different blitz packages and get pressure or try to get pressure, but you're facing Booner, the second best O-line, in my opinion, in the NFL. So that's why I think the Chris Jones loss is significant, because for people that don't know, the Kansas City Chiefs, all time, while Chris Jones has been there, they're 4-3 without him. That's the record. Now that's significant.
And then Travis Kelce's been on the other side the whole time.
Exactly. Right. And that's one of the big things to me is, like, I took the glasses off. I had to see a little bit. It was getting dark with those glasses on. But I don't know what Spenny's over there woeing about, or whoever that was. But when you really do think about that with the offensive line, or in kind of that battle there with our offensive line and their defensive line, that to me, that's one of the most interesting parts of this game, because we obviously added 2 pieces to this backfield on offense, correct? Jahmyr Gibbs,
yes,
David Montgomery. That's what this game, and Lucas has been talking about this all week long. That's what this game's going to come down to. And the Detroit Lions are going to try and run the ball right down their throats because of that. Mm-hmm. They know that their defensive line is very, very suspect.
Now here's the problem, though. It is still Patrick freaking Mahomes.
Yeah,
and that's the part. And Andy Reid. They come
They're
as a duo.
still going to cook.
They're still
So
going
They
to
just don't have the same recipe as before. That's all it is.
That's a
No, you're still going to have to score, in my opinion, without Travis Kelce. I don't care. You're going to have to score probably 27 to beat this team. Like, maybe. I mean, look at the home openers that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been a part of. In every game they've played, they're scoring over 30. Pretty much consistently in week one. And that's, of course, with Kelce, but still, this is going to be a game where, you're running the football, it's low scoring, you're going to have to score points.
Yeah.
And Ben Johnson, another year to prove this offense can do that.
So that's one of my biggest questions then in this game is, obviously the Lions, I'm guessing their game plan is hey, let's run the ball and let's try and keep Patrick Mahomes off of the field. If Patrick Mahomes starts to put points up, does that game plan just go completely out of the door and Ben Johnson just starts cooking?
Well, here's the thing. That's why it's so essential you have a piece like Jahmyr Gibbs on your offense, because he can take. If you want to try to get down the field real quick, you can keep Jahmyr Gibbs on the field and not have to sub him out, because he can get you a touchdown through the air and he can get you a touchdown on the ground. And behind this offensive line with no Chris Jones, he's going to be picking up 7-8 yards like that. And once you start doing that, what's that going to do? So bring up the linebackers, bring up Justin Reed and the safeties. Nick Bolton, he's gonna have a long night. Same with Willie Gay, because he's gonna have Jonah Jackson and Big V in their face all night. So they're not gonna know what to do with that. When that starts happening, that's when we're gonna see Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, really take off. Because Tim Twentyman came on E&E earlier and he pointed out, he's like, we could really see Jahmyr Gibbs be a vertical threat in this offense. When we remember Ben Johnson going back earlier this week and saying, yeah, Jahmyr, he's going to be used in ways that people don't expect. And Brad Holmes and Ben Johnson have both said, we don't need a deep threat out of the wide receiver position. So we could see a lot of inside fade out of Jahmyr Gibbs, especially if this game starts picking up. And that's why I'm not really that worried, because at the same time, their efficiency on the Chiefs side of the offense is not going to be the same, because they don't have their best playmaker there. And they don't have Eric Bieniemy, which is going to be a huge thing. He's also going to have to pick up with this offense Matt Nagy is where Eric Bieniemy left off. And I think that's going to take a little bit of adjustment too.
It's going to be a shootout.
Think so?
It's going to be a shootout.
High scoring.
Hold on. Easy. David Hardick actually disagrees with you. He says Jared Goff will outplay Mahomes and Lions win by more than 10.
I don't know.
There you go. David calls a
Can I
blowout.
get a hit of that?
Yeah.
Can I get a hit of that? Let me see.
I don't know, man. I don't see I'm with Easy. I think it's a higher scoring game, but I don't think there's no blowout. I don't think there's an outcome for a blowout. For the
You think it
Lions.
will be a
And to be
high-scoring
honest with
game
you,
because
too,
of that?
No. That's a separate take. I don't think there's if the Lions blow out the Chiefs, I won't go there.
Oh
I'm
my God.
not putting anything on the line, but I would be shocked.
No, do it.
No, I'm not doing
Let's
that.
get a hair
I'm not doing
bet.
that. No, I'm not.
Let's get a hair bet going.
I'm not putting that.
Let's get it in the chat here. Let's get a hair bet going.
It's not happening. But
Can I be honest too?
I don't see that
think,
happening at all. There's
I
no way.
don't think we should be disappointed in the shootout either. I know that Brad Holmes retooled this defense, specifically the secondary. One, it's their first game. They got to gel together. Two, think about last year. This exact team, the Kansas City Chiefs, went against the best defense, if not the second best defense in the league, and the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, and they scored 38 points. It's just there's no shame in it being a shootout.
Not at all.
I don't think you should take anything away from that and be disappointed in this defense. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles let 38 up to this Kansas City Chiefs team. Travis Kelce, though.
That is he caught
And
himself.
easy.
That is true.
To that point, though, like you said, last year the Eagles and Seahawks games, two early games, and you're in a shootout for both of them. You just couldn't find a way to go get a stop and win the game.
Well, week one's
that's
hard
kind of different,
because
or the
week
same
one's
thing.
always unpredictable for defenses, especially because defenses to plan for offenses because it's week one. There's no
You have no idea.
A lot of it's going to come down to who can make the most adjustments in the game. During the game, that's what matters. All this maybe you're looking to see similar things they do, but you have to see it play out tonight. Actually, when they play, and then you make adjustments accordingly. I think one person that needs to have a big game from a coaching perspective, it's got to be Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's going to go out there and he's again, even without Travis Kelce, this is a guy who faced a lot of scrutiny last year, early on and easy.
Yeah.
I got to give you credit because you were literally front of that bus.
Defend the Glenn, baby.
Defend the Glenn.
Defend the Glenn, baby.
I was with you. I mean, he deserved. You could criticize somebody, but firing Aaron Glenn was ridiculous. He proved himself. Second half of the season, Lions were a top defense, at least, again, for the second half of the season, points allowed.
Yep.
And then he has a lot to prove, I think, today as well.
I think a lot of what people are missing, people like Bill Simmons, national pundit, he kind of bashing Detroit Lions and their defense this week, but you're missing the context of the situation. If you just look at the box scores, it'd be easy to say Detroit Lions, trash defense, let it carry into this year. But no, that wasn't the case. Just as Jeff said, I believe it was from week 9 into the end of the year, literally.
Only the 49ers and Jets were up there with them. Points per game. Yeah.
Top 5 defense, DVOA. That's a fact. and then you add CJ GJ to that. You address the linebacker position, and whether Campbell starts, that's up for debate. But if he plays, there you have your depth either way. And I think Brian Branch, and this is not like a surprise for anybody by now. It shouldn't be. If you don't believe, you just might find out tonight. But Brian Branch is the real deal. Think about it. CJ GJ was brought here and put in the nickel spot. They literally had to move CJ GJ to safety and kick Tracy out because Brian Branch was performing that well within training camp and practice. By the way, against a top 5 offense from the following year. Brian Branch is the real deal.
Yeah, he is.
Can I ask a quick question kind of following the AG talk then?
Yep.
On the coaching side of things, I talked about it last night on Woodward Nights. Dan Campbell, the last 2 seasons to start the season, he's ran into issues coaching-wise.
That's part of it.
And no one's really kind of brought that up. And I thought of it last night about starting the year. He struggled. You might have.
I brought it up this morning, but continue.
Oh, look.
I love you. Go on.
12 hours after. Look at him.
Took his take.
Second day on
I did not
second
take
day
his
on the
take.
job, and he took my take.
No,
I
I
love
did
it.
not.
Now,
You're right, though.
Me and Jeff share takes. No, but that's the thing,
Hey,
though,
yo.
is really, that's something that no one's looked at because of all the hype. And everyone obviously loves Dan Campbell. I do. You do. Everyone here in Detroit is a Dan Campbell guy. But he started slow off the last 2 years, and that's a fact.
Right.
And part of the reason why he started slow, and in the comments yesterday, I saw people like, well, he won us some games. That's a head coach's job, is to go win you football games. But let's talk about losing games. It's not your job to go out there and lose a game like single-handedly. Call a timeout at the wrong time to give the other team time to go score. Kick a field goal when you should go for it. Go for it when you should kick a field. Like these decisions that he was kind of messing up on, you can't have that this year, and you can't have that tonight. You can't have it to start this year because you can't afford to have these slow starts again. And that's all part of the formula of having these slow starts and like a quicker start than you have in the past.
I think there's a lot of context to it.
A ton of context.
Like,
that's the
you
thing.
look at the first year, I mean, this roster. I mean, it was like Booner. You were out there, like, starting at multiple positions. It was tough, like, the first year. So,
but we can all agree, though, there were games where he just...
Wait, what did I just miss?
Nothing. I'm just saying, we can all agree that there's games where he lost us that game. Like, we all know that. The Bears game, the Vikings game. There's games that he lost, and that was a question that everyone at the network here, everyone had questioned. That's what I'm saying is, to start a season anymore, someone said in here, Booner's trying to catch fades. I don't know what that means, but no, I'm just stating a fact.
Don't your ass beating this bitch, Booner.
No, I'll destroy anyone.
Oh
Okay.
my God!
All right, bro. Hold on.
This
Hey,
is
Spinny, hand my light work, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Hand my light work, Spinny.
All right,
Spenny?
all right.
Come on now.
Oh, hold on.
Don't
Hold
do
on.
this.
Booner, let's see that one more. Let's see that one more again, Booner. Let's see that one more again.
This is my bodyguard.
Say it again.
Anyone
Say it
trying to
again.
harm me?
I don't think he's your bodyguard. I think he wants to smoke with you, Booner.
No, that's my bodyguard.
Okay,
Say
this
over
is.
on face to anybody again.
I'll run fades with anyone but Spencer.
You mean that?
He couldn't even get the words out.
Mean that, Boone? We've been trying to do this for
Spencer.
months.
Spencer's a lot
Gloves
bigger
are
in
in the
person.
back.
I don't know what
Anyways.
just happened.
I'm a machine.
There you go, Mike. Okay, I'm a machine. Let's move on here. I want to get into some matchups because that's always the best part about at least doing things like this. You get to talk about, Chiefs D-line versus Lions O-line, so on and so forth. We'll start it off. Mike, can you get a little drop? You got a little
Yeah, let's
track
get some
for us here.
tunes going.
Get some tunes here. We'll go through it. I'll go around the room.
DJ Mike
And you
Gentry
give
on
us
the beat.
you give us your opinion on that. We'll start it off here. Matchups for the Detroit Lions offense. We'll start with offense. Chiefs D-line, Lions offensive line.
Yeah.
No Chris Jones. Booner, talk to me.
Number one matchup I'm looking at there, I think we all know what the matchup is. George Karlaftis versus Penei Sewell.
Well, it depends who they put Karlaftis. It could be Decker.
Or Decker. I think either way, no matter what, both of those guys, we know what they can do.
Yes.
We know what this offensive line is. I would like to see Penei Sewell just dominate him when they're up against. Hopefully he has 0 sacks, nothing, just doesn't. We don't hear his name all night. It probably won't happen, but that's one of the main. I think that's the main matchup on this line because we just talked about it. That defensive line they have, there's really no names on them.
No.
There's no one besides Karlaftis.
No, there's nobody I think the
George.
Lions should fear. I mean, Karlaftis I like a lot. We talked about him pre-draft, but still, he's not Chris Jones. So
I mean, he's a dog, but like
He ain't no dog.
yeah, I don't think
let's
it's
not put the dog.
Now,
there
I
yet.
wouldn't say it's
give him
one.
it.
If my thoughts on it, really, the Chiefs' defensive line and what they're going to look like when they blitz. It's not about the defensive line itself, but it's also the linebackers. I mean, Spag is going to create some, cook up some creative things defensively to get a blitz on the Lions. I don't know if it all has to be Karlaftis, but it could be Bolton coming in, Karlaftis on one side as well. All that said, Lucas, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh,
This
my
Lions
God.
offensive line is proven, especially in pass pro and of course run blocking. They can do both, which is rare for many offensive lines. They can handle it. They're up to the challenge. I think Jared Goff sits in that pocket. He's cooking. He's cooking up burgers. He's having a whole barbecue back there. I mean, he'll have hot dogs. Name it, he's got it. He won't get touched tonight against the Chiefs. I don't think so.
Yeah, can we all kind of agree, Easy? I want to hear from you too, that even if Chris Jones was healthy, this would at least be a debate. Like, it would be close. Like,
Are you kidding me?
Like, can you guys all agree, Easy?
What?
If Lions offensive line obviously is how they are, and Chris Jones is healthy for the Chiefs, this would still be like a close debate on who has the advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, Lions have a top 3 offensive line in the entire league. Chris
Yeah.
Jones is amazing. He's one man. The Detroit Lions have 5 fucking.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry
So
for swearing, but
the
5
fact,
guys that
The
you
fact
deserve.
that Chris Jones is out, this is already the strength of the Lions team. And now you're rubbing that right in the Chiefs' weakness at the moment, besides maybe the receiving core, but on the defensive side, no doubt that defensive line is just vulnerable. Give me the Lions offensive line all day. I think they're just going to pile drive them for 4 quarters.
What about you, Easy? Is it even worth the conversation?
It's the offensive line. It's not worth the conversation.
Okay.
This is a top 3, not even top 5, top 3 offensive line in the entire league. All they have is George Karlaftis, and then the guy they took from, I don't even remember, Northwestern or whatever the frick it was.
Yeah,
who killed the combine.
Felix.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
Uzama or
Exactly.
something.
He hasn't
Yeah,
proven his name
CJ
yet. He's nothing to mention in terms of like matchup wise. Detroit Lions win the offensive line versus defensive line matchup all day.
What about the Lions wide receivers against the Chiefs DBs?
I'm going Lions wide receivers on that one. I mean, Trent McDuffie versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean,
What would be?
is that what you would that be
Would
that
be
matchup?
Snead, right? Snead would be on Amon-Ra.
I don't see like.
But
I've already given up my pick for kind of the Lions receiving core there with Amon-Ra receptions. I think with the time that Jared Goff has today with that offensive line, that they're gonna cut them up. That's kind of where my thought goes with this, is that secondary is going to struggle a little bit because of the fact that we have this offensive line. There's not going to get that pressure to Jared Goff, and Jared Goff is going to have all the time to do whatever he wants, and they're going to struggle a little bit, and it might not be their fault because they have no pressure on the quarterback. It's kind of like last year when the Detroit Lions weren't getting a ton of pressure, and obviously we didn't have the best secondary, but it's hard. You can't guard anyone for that long. So
No.
I'm going our wide receiver core. I am.
I got faith in clearly Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, I think he'll go for 1,400 this year, and I'm going to keep saying it. I think the guy's
I thought
going to have a
you said
huge
1,600.
year. Did not say 1,600.
I'm just
Booner.
checking.
I said 14.
Just
all right?
keeping you grounded.
Get it right.
1,600 Booner.
Get it
I'm
right,
keeping
Booner.
you grounded here, man.
I know. I need it. I do.
You do, Hollywood.
But Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he'll go for 1,400. I ain't worried about him. I'm just not. I don't give a damn who's covering him. I think he'll be all right. Now, Khalif Raymond, you talk about the others. Josh Reynolds, who had a
Yeah.
big game when Jared Goff faced off with Patrick Mahomes back in his L.A. days. I think he had 6 catches for 80 yards in that game. Matt Broder enlightened me this morning on that. But regardless, Khalif Raymond, Lucas, this man can separate.
Does it better than anybody in the league against man coverage, baby. Stats prove it.
I'm not worried.
Chiefs are a man-to-man team. They got no Chris Jones, who had 15.5 sacks last year, which is fucking crazy from a defensive lineman. But either way, we just talked about how this Lions offensive line is going to dominate in the run game. And the same thing's going to happen for the offense. Now, I think the Chiefs have some solid DBs. They do. But between their safeties and their corners, they're solid. But same thing with the Lions. After Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's still But the time that Jared Goff is going to have in this game is what it comes down to. Jared Goff is going to have time to make quick, efficient throws.
Yep.
And then when time comes, take those deep shots and hit them just where he needs to do it.
Yep.
So because of that reason, I think Jared Goff's going to have an efficient game. Lions wide receivers get the advantage for sure.
You kind of answered my question already, Lucas, but kind of to my point is, like, obviously they have dudes in the secondary.
Tre'Davious Ward, Justin Reed, Trent McDuffie, like they're solid.
But my question for you, for the ball knower, you are the ball knower
Of course,
around
of
here.
course.
gosh.
This is known. This is known.
You are the ball knower.
You just said you got to keep me grounded. You call this man a ball knower.
I'm just being honest. The chat,
he's
everyone
keeping me
always calls
grounded
this man the
too.
ball knower. That's all.
Knows ball.
Yeah, he knows ball. Yeah. No, that's my point, though, Lucas, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that exact point is they're not going to be able to get pressure on Jared Goff whatsoever, in my opinion. This secondary is going to have to work their asses off to be able to guard these guys.
Right.
And I just don't see a world to where, like, maybe they can slow them down a little bit, but they're not going to get enough pressure to be able to really affect Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones, Sam Laporta. Like, I don't
Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer
Think about,
Gibbs
okay,
in the
you've
slot.
covered
Like,
all the wide
I don't
receivers
see
now.
it happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, we should just count Jameer as a wide receiver.
Yeah, because
He'll
think
be in the
about it.
slot a ton.
Think about it. They bracket him on Ross St. Brown because that's what they're going to have to do. You do that. They don't have a corner that's the side of Marvin Jones on the outside. So let's just say for a hypothetical situation, you do that and you got Josh Reynolds covered. Cool. Now what the hell are you going to do with Jameer Gibbs? Because he's the most athletic out of all those receivers I just named. Jameer Gibbs is still the most athletic player out of all of them. So even if they clamp up the wide receivers, the DBs do their job. Is there a way really you can stop these playmakers outside of Jared Goff making a mistake, which he's not going to be able to do because he has enough time this time? Like, when Jared Goff has a clean pocket, he cooks.
He does.
That's what happened through the last half of the season last year.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, what benefits Goff, and this is why drafting in Brad Holmes, man. Like, the heavyweights spoke on it too, and they were talking about Brad Holmes, and they were so right. Like, Brad, and Spenny said it best, his talent evaluation, that's off the charts. And not even his ability to recognize talent, but see it fit with what they're doing offensively already. Jared Goff, and like you said, clean pocket, he can get the ball out. He's accurate, right? But the thing that also helps Goff or any other quarterback is yards after catch. Guys, you could just put the football in their hands and they'll do the rest.
Make plays.
You got Sam Laporta, who I think will be fine, but maybe not week one. He's going to come out and explode onto the scene. But Jameer Gibbs is set up to do that. Another guy, yards after catch. I think he'll make a huge impact receiving tonight. I do.
What's one thing we already talked about Jared Goff? Takes care of the ball. The secondary, Jared Goff, I don't see the secondary getting a takeaway, and that's one of the keys to this game. A game
The
like
Chiefs
this.
or the Lions secondary?
The Chiefs secondary.
Okay.
I don't see them getting a takeaway on Jared Goff because if he has this time in the pocket, he's not going to make stupid plays. He's already has this streak going on that he takes care of the ball, and we all know that already. That's one of the keys to the game as well is turnovers. That's why Brad Holmes, they went out and got guys that can create turnovers. That's how you win games. I don't see the Chiefs secondary creating any turnovers with the Jared Goff, who is not going to have any pressure.
Look at this one. John Martin says, Jeff is high, red ass eyes. LOL.
You take a trip to Dispo, Jeff?
No, I have not smoked or drank. So I think
his
that's
whole
just,
life.
I think
In his
that-
whole life. He's never drank or smoked in his whole life.
Stop it. I think it's just for me being here since 6 a.m. like Lucas. But regardless, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. I really am. I'm running off pure adrenaline. I'm a machine. Like,
give us
John
a
Fury.
that was the weakest.
I'm a machine.
I didn't even notice that he said he just goes, I'm a machine.
Bro's getting held hostage up there. He's like, I'm excited to be here. I'm having a lot of good time. This
Look
is
at
very
Spenny.
fun.
Spenny joining us
Yeah, but look at me. What?
You look good today.
Look at me.
you
What?
right now.
Yeah.
You look
Look
great.
at this guy.
I heard you guys using my stats, using my quotes, not throwing
I
my
was
name out
giving you
there.
credit.
Yeah, we'll see.
I was trying to shout out the heavyweights. All right, tune in 5 to 7 weekdays. But anyway, regardless, John Martin still thinks I'm high. That's okay. We'll keep the show going. I want to talk about also, before we get to matchups for the Lions defense, I want to talk about the matchup, at least head coach to head coach.
Ooh, I love that.
There is no. What do you mean?
It's
you
not
love
a
that?
matchup.
There's
I
no
talked about
matchup.
There is no matchup.
Andy
Andy
Reid.
Reid is one of the best
Nah.
head coaches in the NFL.
No. There's a matchup.
No?
I
What?
talked about it the other day.
Oh my gosh, what?
He's not going to be able to outcoach him. He's not going to be able to do all of that.
So what's the
He
matchup?
just has to be a normal. Just don't mess up. If you don't mess up, Andy Reid, there's not one person in this country or world who can outcoach Andy Reid.
Yes, there is.
No, I disagree.
John Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, Mike
Okay.
Tomlin. Those
Okay.
are all
Okay.
capable coaches being
Dan
able to
Campbell
outcoach Andy
He
Reid.
won't be able to outcoach Andy Reid.
No, he will not.
But just do not mess up. The matchup it's like this. But Dan Campbell, don't go down here. Stay right here in that matchup.
That's fair.
That's all. That's why the other day I talked about that matchup. That's my favorite matchup. Let Andy
Why
Reid
is
do
that
all-
your favorite
Let Andy
matchup?
I
Reid-
know, but
Let him
that's a
do
little
all
ridiculous.
of this. Just stay here.
No.
Don't go down. Stay right here, and you'll win the game. It's the same thing like we said in the back with Jared Goff. Just stay here. Don't try and go here.
No.
Don't don't go down here.
I
Stay
disagree.
here and you win the game.
Jared Goff needs to go there.
If I'm being
No, he
real with
doesn't
you,
need to
if
throw
I'm
for
being real with
500
it,
and
is
3
this
touchdowns.
I'm not saying that.
is this fair to say? I don't think it's a matchup between Dan and Andy Reid, but obviously with
Dan and himself.
well, that's
the man in the mirror.
That's part of it. That's part of it. And it could be Andy Reid and AG, but the real one, Andy Reid and Ben Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah.
Play call versus play
guess,
call.
but like,
Because Andy Reid stole plays from Ben Johnson last year.
That's fair.
And Ben Johnson is a wizard. This is, okay, Lions fans, take a deep breath. This is going to hurt. This is probably the last time we see Ben Johnson calling plays for the Detroit Lions is this year.
And a home
100%.
or not home, but an opener for the season.
'Cause
he's
he-
out after next.
I mean, you think he's going to go to L.A.? Arizona might be open next year. Oh, shots. Shoom, shoom. Weird-ass mother.
Jonathan Gannon.
He's probably gone after this
Is
year
there a
when
chance
Arizona
that-
wins one game.
is there a chance that we see both? Like if Aaron Glenn's defense is like legit, like that turnaround really happens.
AG may
that
need
we
a
see
year.
2 guys,
No.
both coordinators leave. Is there a
No,
chance?
Aaron Glenn's not leaving.
I think he's here for a little bit
Think so?
longer.
Aaron
A little
Glenn's not
longer.
going to leave yet. It's the Rooney Rule were the reason that he was getting interviews before that. He's a great coach.
He would be.
I
he would
talked
be a
about
good
this on
coach.
Heavyweights 2 years ago. Aaron Glenn was trying to make a salad with spoiled vegetables.
Yep.
Like, he didn't have
Bar.
the pieces on defense. Now he has the pieces. Now he's got year 2 Aiden Hutchinson. Now he's got year 2 James Houston. Now he has Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He's got Cam Sutton. He has a first-round draft pick in Jay Campbell. He's got guys around the pieces to make moves. Legitimate players. Aaron Glenn's going to show his coaching masterpiece this year. But I don't think he's going to be gone after that. I don't think he's going to leave after this. Because defensive-minded coaches, I understand you could talk about Robert Saleh. You could talk about, what's his name, who's the head coach of the Texans now. Why can't I remember his name?
D'Amico
Ryans.
Yeah,
You
you're
could
worst
talk
of
about
first Texans.
Yeah, my worst of first
Shut
Texans.
Don't even know their head coach's name.
I'm worst of first Texans. No, it's,
You're a little drunk.
That's a
get it.
long shot. It's not going to happen.
Just a hero.
Jacksonville's winning that division. But
Yes.
the NFL isn't looking for defensive-minded head coaches. If you're a good franchise, if you're ready to win, if you want to make a play, you're not going for an Aaron Glenn.
No.
You're going for a Ben Johnson, who's the wunderkind,
Yeah.
who is this young master of offense.
The pathway, though, to your point, if you hire like a D'Amico Ryans, is he's going to be like the figurehead. Kind of like what Dan is. Like, he's the guy, and then you have the stud OC and the stud.
Exactly.
He's got to be like the. Maybe Aaron Glenn can do that, but
He's got to be a leader of men.
Exactly.
The
which
only
he
reason
is.
I did ask
He
that
is.
too is because he did have some interviews last year.
Yeah, that's the Rooney Rule.
Now, in your point to where he does have weapons now. He has a legit defense now. If he does turn this around and it shows, like when you do have dudes, what can you do with it? And they're say top 10 in the league, even top 15.
They're not going to be top 10.
I'm just throwing this out there. Like if
Top
they
15, definitely.
Like I'm just kind of throwing it out there for him to get a head coaching job. He has to probably have them top 10, and he'll probably get more interviews. Correct?
He'll
And
get
then
more looks. He'll get more.
At that
But
point, there's a potential that a team just goes for it, and they're like, we just need someone for now.
I guarantee
And
Aaron
Not-
Glenn.
not from
I
a
guarantee
defensive
Aaron
guy.
Glenn is going to be the defensive coordinator for this team.
I
Now.
hope so.
I guarantee
hope
Ben
he is.
Johnson is not going to be the
Well,
offensive
Hold
coordinator.
That's
on,
a lot.
Well, and as much as I love Aaron Glenn, we're here to talk about the game. All right.
Yeah.
And I want to ask a question to all of you guys, and you can give me your opinion on it. Aaron Glenn. Speaking of that, defensive line for the Lions against this Chiefs O line.
They're going to get nasty.
They gonna get.
They're
nasty.
going to get nasty.
Talk to me, Spenny.
Dude, what you can do with what they have on the defensive line. We've talked about people who can play multiple different positions, guys who can do different stuff, the versatility. You look at Aiden Hutchinson, you can move him outside, you can move him inside. Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, same thing. You can move them around. Aleem McNeil with his body transformation will be able to do a lot of different things. And now that they're all comfortable in the situation, now that they all have a year or two in the Aaron Glenn defense, you're going to see stunts. You're going to see nastiness. You're going to see people moving around. You're going to see switches. It's going to be so beautiful to just overwhelm this, I don't want to say young Kansas City offensive line, but this new Kansas City offensive line, because they haven't been together. They haven't played a game together.
Right.
So the stunts that Aaron Glenn will be able to do with the versatility you have in the defensive line is going to be nasty. We saw Aaron Glenn get nasty last year. We saw him rush nobody and Hutch get the pick standing on the sideline. We saw James Houston bumping out into coverage. We saw different things. But now that everybody is healthy and you had that kind of versatility, the best thing for a defensive lineman are stunts.
Yep.
Me and my boy Quantez, I'm running.
Shout out Quantez.
I'm Quantez defensive tackle. I'm defensive end. We used to do, he rolls under, I jump over right before the snap, go at it. It's not going to be anything crazy like that, but they're going to run twists, they're going to run splits. It's going to be, you're going to see an Aaron Glenn masterclass with the defensive line work.
You know what's special too? Oh, we were going to say.
I was just going to, the best thing about that too, Spenny, that's like an unreal point too, because the best thing about that, and when we know it, like we don't really touch about on this a lot, but the depth on this defensive line now that everyone's healthy,
right?
They're able to just rotate dudes, ends, the tackles, consistently rotate guys to just keep doing different stunts, keep doing different things to throw up, and especially when you're playing a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you're able to mix and match so many different things, and that offensive line, they're not going to know what's coming next and next and next, and it's the game plan disaster there.
On top of the stunts, on top of the trickery, just the pure depth of having, you're going against Aiden Hutchinson and Charles Harris for 30 snaps. You got these big ass mother bleepers leaning on you for 30 snaps, and then you bring in James Houston, who's going to beat you off the line. I call him the pit bull on the chain, because you're holding the chain, and then when it's time to rush the passer, you let go of the chain and you let him attack that man. So you're lining up against Aiden Hutchinson for 20 snaps, and then you have a guy like James Houston that comes in, hits you with a speed rush and a bend on the outside. They're not ready for it.
No.
I don't want to say young because they're not rookies or anything, but untested offensive line of Kansas City is not ready for the depth, the versatility,
especially those tackles,
and the
outside,
overall talent of the Lions' defensive line.
Listen, I love it. Like you guys get me juiced up. Pause. But that Chiefs O-line, damn good.
It got worse though.
Hey, real quick, you know it's game day when Kool-Aid's got the buffs on.
Shout out Kool-Aid with the buffs.
Yeah. Shout out Detroit Kool-Aid, man.
What up, though?
He's showing some love.
We'll get Kool-Aid down in the Mavs chair soon.
Let's go,
man.
Kool-Aid.
Appreciate you, Kool-Aid.
We'll
He's
Kool-Aid
here hanging out with the boys.
soon.
Just to kind of speak on that point, though, the Chiefs' offensive line is damn good. But you're right.
Creed Humphrey's fantastic.
Creed Humphrey's fantastic.
He is a top 4 center in the league, top 3 center in the league.
Joe Tooney.
Joe Tooney is a good player.
He's a dog.
But
Juwan Taylor's not good.
Juwan Taylor, good in pass pro.
Juwan Taylor got worked by the Lions last year. Juwan Taylor got worked by the Lions last year.
Touche.
Trevor Lawrence almost literally lost his kneecap
to James Houston.
No.
to James Houston.
Oh, I can't wait to say James Houston tonight. I just thought of that name.
I think he's going to get loose.
Juwan Taylor is a good player.
Yeah.
Juwan Taylor is a good player. He's not better than Orlando
Do you
Brown.
think Juwan Taylor's having just flashbacks right now? Like he's like, I'll have to go up against that man again.
Well, I'll say this other thing too. Donovan Smith, their new addition, he's coming off being hurt.
Man.
He's all right, but still, big test for the Lions defensive line. But the point Spenny made, you made, I agree. I think there's a lot of pieces though. That's what makes him so great, and this is why another reason why I think Bugs was, aside from all the other stuff, not being there, having a kid, all that stuff. Besides that, they have so many pieces on this defensive line you can move around. Josh Pascal, my guy who I'm excited for, you can move him inside, move him outside.
He's going to be playing inside. The fact that Isaiah Buggs is not active tells you that either Levi is playing a lot tonight, which I don't think he's going to coming off a back injury, or that Josh Pascal is going to be bumped inside. And with how high they are on John Kaminsky, I think they want him staying on the edge, and that's a perfect time to put Josh Pascal on the inside.
You remember what the favorite thing for the Lions pass rush was last year? All the players talked about it. That NASCAR package.
Yeah.
They brought in. That NASCAR package you put out there. That NASCAR package with Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, somebody else coming off the edge. I'm so excited. Because Aaron Glenn, I spoke with Lee McNeil face-to-face at a Lions game. Shout out Chad. Gave us the tickets. We were courtside. Went to the Players Club at halftime. Lee McNeil was there. He said Aaron Glenn is a genius.
I believe
We
him.
just
Wait,
haven't seen it.
we were there.
No, you weren't there. It was me and Easy.
Oh no, Jeff.
Oh, that was another time?
Me and Easy
Jeff
courtside
did the invite.
for Lakers Pistons.
Oh, I thought you said Lions the first time.
Did I?
Yeah, that's my bad. Anyway, continue.
Just like you said,
pregame.
just like you
But
said,
Aleem was at the Pistons game.
Aleem was at the Pistons game. He said Aaron
Jeff's
Glenn
lying
is a
to get the
genius. And now this man has a full arsenal to work with.
That's dead.
Like,
And
it's
that
scary.
first matchup is Kansas City.
Speaking of Lee McNeil, I think that's one guy that if he has a big game,
Ali
That's
McNeil
an
is my
X
number
factor.
one breakout player for the Lions this year.
I love it.
love that.
I mean, mine is. I'm going with Josh Pascal, but Aleem's gonna.
We saw what he
he
did in the New York Giants game.
Yeah,
He had
Saquon.
what?
As Saquon said, they bust that ass.
Saquon got locked up. Ali McNeil had, 12, 13 pressures in that game?
He was. Yeah.
The man was everywhere.
He-
And now he went from a heavyweight to a light heavyweight. Man cut down. And every offensive lineman on the Lions says he hasn't lost any strength. He's just faster and twitchier.
That's the key too. If you lose all of that weight and you slim down, if you keep that speed and that twitch, that's scary. Especially a guy like him who's put numbers up already. That is very, very.
And that's the
scary.
biggest thing the Lions need is interior defensive
Anything.
line
That's
pass
all
we
rush.
talked about all
Interior
summer. in the
Interior
draft,
defensive
everything.
line pass rush.
Yes.
And I want to ask you guys too. I want to move the conversation to another matchup: Lions DBs against the Chiefs wide receivers. And I'll just ask you this because, a lot
Barbecue chicken.
Hold on, barbecue chicken. You might all agree, but anybody you should be concerned about, or anybody you're looking out for.
You're
Justin
saying from,
Watson.
as far as the Lions or the
Just-
Chiefs side?
No, I'm saying from the Chiefs side.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody wide receiver. I'll go first. I think Sky Moore is somebody I have my eyes on.
I agree.
MVS Mike is another one. See, look at
No,
this.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
The Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid in this room.
What? You're going to tell me the Chiefs have a good receiving core?
No, I
No,
never
they-
said
'cause
that.
they don't.
I never said that.
Because they don't.
Someone's
This is going to be one of the
Steady.
worst receiving cores the Lions secondary sees this year.
Who's throwing him the football?
Patrick Mahomes.
He's
Guess who
pretty
else
good.
he's throwing it to?
He's pretty good.
The Lions secondary.
No,
Oh my god.
Baby.
Ball knowers.
DJ.
Ball knowers. Check it out.
We
God,
know,
are you
Spenny.
kidding
We
New
me?
know,
podcast.
Spenny.
New
We know.
podcast coming soon. Ball knowers. Me and Lucas. Mark it down.
You know what else a ball knower would say?
Patrick Mahomes is him. He is.
And
But
you know
guess what? When he's
Every
getting
ball
chased
knower
by
would
that
say
new revamped defensive line we just talked
Dude,
about,
do we?
and he doesn't have a security blanket and Travis Kelce, who's he throwing it to? Oh,
Noah
MVS.
Gray.
MVS, so great. Sky Moore. Oh, Sky Moore's a weapon. Kadarius Toney. Bro's played like 12 games in his career.
I agree with
Get
you.
out of here.
I get it. They're all
I
their
didn't know
weapons.
we had the '85 Bears. What do we don't?
Jeff, I'm up
We
here
don't.
with you. I will side a little bit with Jeff
The
here.
85 Bears
is that
defense.
Sky Moore has shown a little bit, and in the past, it's like Spenny, don't give me that look. I love you so much. Don't give me the look.
Who's shown a little bit?
I'm just saying, you still have Patrick Mahomes. It's like Aaron Rodgers kind of making all
yeah,
these
no,
guys
he's
great.
gonna make- he's
If
gonna
you
make
really look-
catches.
he's gonna make guys
gonna-
great. And we haven't seen him without a number one guy. Who's gonna be their number one guy? To me, I'm with Jeff. It probably you see tonight, Sky Moore.
Does
put-
Sky Moore instill fear in your
it
heart?
doesn't.
Like, we're not talking about Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about the
Spenny.
Chiefs
No one's
receivers
saying it.
versus the Lions
I know.
secondary.
No one is saying that this receiving core puts fear in us, but
Exactly.
we're saying, but if you had to pick one guy to go off, who are you picking?
Fuck Sky Moore.
One guy.
These guys are
Okay, you know what? I want to
nerds.
hear him say it. So the Chiefs will score 0 points first. Okay.
No, Isaiah Pacheco's going to get
He's scoring.
No, hey,
okay,
here-
so he's scoring 5 touchdowns. Anyway, moving on. Who's scoring, bro?
Jarek McKinnon.
Spend it.
Jarek McKinnon. If there is one receiving threat I'm worried about,
That's
it is
fair.
Jarek McKinnon. It is Jarek McKinnon.
That's
I'm
fair.
not worried about
Jarek
Sky Moore.
McKinnon's gonna be the
I'm not
number
worried
one
about
threat for the
Kadarius
Chiefs
Toney.
receiving game
I'm
this
not
year.
worried about MVS.
This week, I
MVS
should
was
say.
in Green Bay sucking cheese curds
I do-
the past couple of years. Like, get out of here with that. The Chiefs receiving core instills no fear in anybody. The only thing is, it's Patrick Mahomes
And it's
fitting
Andy
into
Reid
a bread
scheming
basket.
for him. Scheming up, Sky Moore. Come on, dude. Mike.
You're not scheming Sky Moore, bro. Get out of here.
Listen, bro, and I know you guys. It's funny. We're all, everyone's a Lions fan, so we're easy to crap on it. Like, you cannot sit here with a straight face and tell me like, I ain't worried about nobody on that team.
Not the receiving core.
With Andy
no.
Reid calling plays and Patrick Mahomes throwing the
I'm
football.
not putting a lock on the double Sky Moore. Sky Moore needs to
See,
be bracketed.
you're putting words in our mouth. I never said double Sky Moore. Did I?
So are you scared of anybody in the Chiefs receiving core?
I never said I'm scared.
Are
But
you?
what I'm
That's
saying
what I'm
is,
asking
if
you
there's,
right now.
if there's one guy,
You're changing the
Hold
question
on.
so
I know
much.
he is, but he's moving
It's
the goalpost.
unbelievable.
He's
What do you
moving
mean?
You're moving it bad.
That's
I know-
right.
Hey, you're a big guy.
What was the
You're a big guy.
original question? What was the original question?
I asked you if there's one person on this Chiefs wide
No,
receiver
it was
core.
we're looking at the matchup between
Yeah,
the
no,
Lions
and my question
secondary.
was one person on this Chiefs wide receiver core. You
on that
looking out?
receiving
Jarek McKinnon.
He's not in the receiving core, though.
He is a pass catcher.
There's one guy.
He is used as a pass
He
catcher.
is,
Tony!
and I do have.
Okay, one guy, one receiver, one receiving core guy.
Just get me somebody.
Noah Gray,
Tight end, Spenny.
Justin Watson.
Justin Watson.
They're all equally meh. I understand Patrick Mahomes is going to thread the needle. He's going to do things. But this secondary, the confidence of this secondary, looking at these guys lined up across from him, you think they're going, oh no, Sky Moore's over there. Look out for Sky Moore.
Booner.
I know I'm out of this conversation.
No one
I
said-
think we could ask.
Mike,
I think we could ask Spenny any question right now.
Yeah, Mike, let me get your thoughts. Any wide receiver?
Yeah, I would
of
say
the Chiefs.
MVS. Obviously, Sky Moore's going to make a big deal too, or have a good game with Travis Kelce being out. But
Spenny would tell you he wouldn't.
He won't.
I would say MVS because he's kind of the one veteran wide receiver that's been around the block before. I'd be worried about him. He has experience with Aaron Rodgers, with a good quarterback. I'm going it.
Yeah,
So-
he's a big
So
playmaker.
Spenny's basically just the wide receiver core gets 0 receiving yards today.
Yeah, that is
Locked
how that
in,
works.
Oh,
Spenny.
yeah.
Take
Yeah.
every-
See how-
We're
see,
twisting
both-
things
we're
around.
both
Yeah.
moving the
Yeah, we're
goalposts
twisting
here. You
things.
see what
No,
I'm saying?
it's- they're
Every
going to do
receiving
things.
under today
Hold on,
for the Kansas
let
City
him
Chiefs.
cook.
They're going to do
Let him
things
cook.
because of Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. That's all we're saying.
I'm not singling out and say you can put them all in the same bubble. They're all meh. I'm not looking at one of these guys and being like, oh, I'm scared of him. I'm looking out for him. He's going to beat us. No.
And the Lions DBs do help that equation. You got good DBs, but the balls. I'm not even going to continue.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah, say it.
No, we could. No, we just say it.
Say it.
No, you're going to keep.
Say it,
You're
Jeff.
going to keep moving that damn goalpost.
No, I won't. Say it.
The ball's going to have to. No.
Patrick Mahomes has to throw to someone.
Yeah,
There's-
and he's gonna throw
gotta have
equally
two
to
other
all of
guys
these
who
guys.
can
I was
no
gonna
matter
say
what.
it. I was gonna
It's
say it a
going to
different
somebody.
way, but JB's gonna clip me.
So that's
no more.
that's what he's
No
gonna do.
more,
Patrick
sound
Mahomes
bites.
is gonna lock in on one target.
No,
No,
he's gonna
but
spread the ball.
someone
He's gonna
has to
spread the
get
ball
the
around.
numbers.
Of course.
So I'm not looking at any of these guys being like, that's the one.
He's
Sky
gonna throw-
Moore's the
That's
one.
the guy.
MVS, that's the one.
Spenny, one receiver is going to have the most receiving yards. That's a fact.
Jared
Who-
McKinnon.
Receiver. Who is it going to be?
Even if it's 12 yards.
Even if it's 12 yards.
Because he's going to throw for 250
Honestly,
yards
probably
tonight.
MVS.
Okay, that was great.
It took how long did we
Thank
take
you.
for you?
I'm
to
not
say
scared of
that?
MVS.
I'm not saying you
He's
have
not
to
the
be
biggest
scared.
weapon.
I'm not saying you have
Was
to be
the question
scared.
who's going to have the most receiving yards? Was that the question?
Well, it's just one person in your eyes. It would obviously be MVS that you think could make an impact on the Chiefs
I don't
wide
think
receiver
any of them
core.
are gonna make an
So they
impact.
all have 0 yards.
I think they're going to
receiving.
be who they are, which is meh. Is that a wild take?
No, they're mid. I agree with the group as a whole. You're thinking the question. It's fine. We'll move on. I love you, Spenny.
Kool-Aid, get in there.
Is that a wild take?
No,
Spenny, it's not.
Is it a wild take to say
No,
the
it's
Chiefs
not.
receiving core isn't good?
That's
No,
not my
it's
problem.
not at
No,
all.
I'm actually.
And I understand what you guys are saying. Like, there's going to be one. There's going to be a guy.
Of course.
I don't see a go-to guy for Patrick Mahomes in this receiving core.
And you could be right.
I don't see a guy that's like, I'm going to, oh, it's Jerry Jacobs versus MVS. Oh, it's Sky Moore versus Jerry Jacobs versus Cam Sutton. I'm going to target him because he's the guy. Patrick Mahomes is going to play who's open. So there's not one
Right.
guy that's like, oh, I'm going to go to
Who do you
him
think gets
in
how about
crunch
this?
time.
Who do you think gets open more?
I honestly don't.
I have to keep phrasing it.
I
for you
honestly
differently.
don't.
If I give you $100 right now,
Yeah.
and you had to put on for one Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver to get 50 yards, who are you
50
putting it on?
yards.
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
Great question, Booner.
Yeah.
I think MVS would be
Great
MVS.
question, Booner. MVS.
I was saying he's a
Literally
big
MVS.
play.
2 catches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
with
that.
you there.
So maybe it is him. I would pick probably Sky Moore personally,
It's
but
Sky Moore, guys.
Yeah,
like
I
I
think
know
Sky
we just
Moore.
went. I know we just went on
I
a
don't
big
like it.
tantrum there,
Scared
but
of Sky
it's
Moore.
without a doubt Sky Moore. Matt Nagy's
like
gonna
Sky
be.
Moore,
yeah,
man.
he's the most, as Spenny would say, versatile player that they have. He's been saying versatility all fucking day for some reason.
Versatility.
Pardon the F-bomb there.
Versatility.
But yeah, there's no
Potato,
way
potato.
that Sky Moore does not
Bananas.
lead the Chiefs in targets. There's no way. There's no way.
No, I want to move the question now because we got through that debacle with Spenny. That's why I love having
Kool-Aid.
Spenny.
like a
man.
little
Get in the chat. Let's get Kool-Aid some love.
And I want to change the conversation now
escalated
to
quickly.
which player needs to make the biggest impact offensively, defensively for the Lions to win. Now we'll start offensively. The player that needs to make the biggest impact, go.
I think this is an easy answer here, and I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't really know what's going to happen with him, a rookie, obviously, but
Okay.
he's able. We already know that he's able to make plays out of the backfield. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to be making different plays. Ben Johnson already came out and said we're going to use him in ways that no one ever thought that we will. Jahmyr Gibbs, if he has a big game today, he will. That is going to be significant for the Detroit Lions because one of the reasons we took him 12th overall for a reason. We want him to make an impact instantly. He's supposed to be the upgrade to DeAndre Swift. We know what Amon-Ra can do. He's going to make an impact in his own way. We already know that. But who's going to make an impact to win this game? Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs all day. I think he goes out there, 100-plus all-purpose yards.
Hell yeah.
Might see him get a touchdown again in the end zone at some point.
Do you think that would come through the air or on the ground, Booner?
A touchdown?
Yeah.
I think it would come through the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's in the air, like within the red zone.
So we'll stay offensively. You think Jahmyr Gibbs?
I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs.
So, hey guys, real quick, not to cut you off.
What's up?
Lions just dropped their official inactive. So
let's see him.
Isaiah Buggs. We saw that one coming. I'll get it. I'll send it over. Yeah. You guys keep going. I'll get it sent over.
So we'll put the graphic up in a little bit there. So stay patient with us. And I'll give mine. I think offensively, who needs to have the biggest impact? And I'm not going to say Jared. That's easy. Jared, of course,
obviously,
he has to have a big
cop-out.
I'll go. I'm on Ross St. Brown. Come on, dude.
Like 7+ catches impact.
I already.
I think you need a
go.
big game out of Saint. I think if you're going to score points, you're looking at St. Brown. You could argue maybe a Cleef or a Josh Reynolds, need to have a big game because St. Brown will. But I'm going to go with St. Brown. I think the receptions matter. I think we'll have a touchdown catch today. I do think that. And I think he's going to be a matchup problem for the Chiefs. So he's somebody that I think has to have a big game. If he struggles, you're depending on Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds.
He always has his game.
He always does his thing.
Whether he has 6 catches, 8, 10, 5, he always makes an impact. That's why I didn't pick him, is because he always makes an impact.
That's why I think it's David Montgomery.
Okay.
I think David Montgomery needs to be the guy that asserts his will on the Chiefs defense. Obviously, you're missing Chris Jones. You want to keep that offense off the field as much as possible. How do you do that? You run the ball. David Montgomery, you brought him here. He is the highest paid skill position player on the Lions team.
Yep.
You brought him in here to do something. You brought him in here to be a guy. And he needs to go out there. He needs to break off some runs. He needs to make things happen. And I'm saying David Montgomery. He needs to get in the end zone for sure for a couple of my bets. But I think he needs to go out there. He needs to control the clock and break off some runs.
So the Booner bet of the night.
What about you, Lucas? Did you already give yours?
For what was it? I'm trying to get this graphic.
You're fine. I'll give you a second.
I was rolling with the same thing as Spence.
Okay.
I was going to say Monty. He's going to be a big part of controlling the game, keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field, controlling the clock. And I'm rolling with Booner, too. This is my best bet of the night. Monty's getting in the end zone.
That's the big bet tonight.
Monty's getting in.
I think we can all agree, though, because talking about the Chiefs' defense, when Jeff, I'm sure you can segue, the best part of the Chiefs' defense tonight is going to be Nick Bolton and Willie Gay.
Mm-hmm.
Those linebackers are no joke. Now, they're not the Fred Warners of the league, but if you had to say, do you think the game comes down to David Montgomery, how he performs against Nick Bolton and Willie Gay?
Well, I think Spenny's onto it something with David Montgomery, because Jahmyr Gibbs, to your point, has to have a big game.
Yeah.
Because, again, you're out without J-Mo. You got a couple guys you like besides St. Brown, but Jahmyr's got to be electric, like you drafted him to be.
Yes.
The other person, David Montgomery, to your point, red zone, he's going to be big. Like first down, he'll be big. Like moving
tough carries when you need
carries.
to move the chains.
Yep.
When you need a 5-yard gain.
Yes.
You put in David Montgomery. That's why you brought him in. That's why you paid him $6 million this season. That's why he needs to do those things.
And I saw someone in the chat put it here. One of the reasons too, like even with mine with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery for you boys, our offensive line's going to dominate tonight.
Have to.
And
Oh, yeah.
that's
They
going to
have
help
to.
those two guys have so much success.
We're going to win the trenches 10 times
you
out.
have
And
to
those two guys are
impose
going to
your will.
shine because of that.
Yes.
What about defense, though?
Now we'll get to that. Biggest.
Hold up, let's look at these real quick.
All right, let's see.
Because it'll help break down the defense, because there's two of them that are going to surprise you. You got Isaiah Buggs, we knew.
Oh, no.
Stephen Gilmore.
Wait,
that's kind of
what?
surprise. Broderick Martin. So there's no Isaiah Buggs or Broderick Martin. So that's
Or
two
Romeo.
big bodies up front that the Lions are missing. Emmanuel Mosley we knew about, and then Romeo Okwara.
The Romeo one, I'm a little confused by.
They're rolling out Julian over Romeo.
Is
Julian's on IR.
Yeah,
Isn't
Julian
he?
went on the
Facts,
IR.
I
First
forgot
4
about
games,
that.
he's on
Yeah.
IR.
Is there maybe a reason? I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna
Smash
text
the
Broder.
James Houston sack prop bet.
Yeah, there you go.
With either Okwara gone, the Broderick Martin is the one that concerns me the most. Already with not having Bugs, Broderick Martin being gone.
Benito Jones.
Benito Jones, Levi. You called it. Pascal playing a lot of inside.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got John Kaminsky that's also going to play inside reps. That sucks.
I just texted Broder. I want to know why no Broderick and
That's surprising.
Romeo.
I thought
I'm going to see if he knows something.
The fact that Bugs was out, I was like, for sure Broderick or Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is where I'm a little bit worried because now I'm not saying this is going to be the do or die of the game, but you got Creed Humphrey on either Josh Pascal, Benito Jones, or Lee McNeil, and that's a top 2 center in the league. I'm sorry, it's Jason Kelsey than him. I love Frank Ragnow, but I think Frank Ragnow's behind him. You can order him if you want, but that's where the Chiefs are probably going to have to apply the most pressure as far as offensively because that's what's going to open up Patrick Mahomes. So this is a questionable decision in my eyes.
And they got a ton of depth for this on their defensive
Yeah.
line. I'm not too concerned. I mean, you got guys like Charles Harris that's supposed to have a resurgent season since he first came here. So there's guys that you like. I'm not too worried about it. We'll see how it plays off. I mean, the Chiefs aren't really a team that you're like they're going to pound the football. So you need all the big fellas
without
up front.
Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco has shown that he can do something. That's why my defensive X factor now has to be Ali McNeil. It has to be Ali
That's
McNeil.
fair.
He has to go out there and he has to be a guy. He has to play a lot of snaps. He has to provide pressure, and he's got to stop Isaiah Pacheco.
And that's the segue to our next thing.
Yeah.
Player that you need, or the Lions need to have the biggest game defensively. You're going with Ali McNeil.
Ali McNeil, man, he's got to go out. He is expected to have a breakout season from a lot of different people. We've talked about the body transformation. We've talked about what he did in flashes. But now, no Bugs, no Broderick. It's him, Benito Jones, and Levi.
A couple guys that can
who knows?
inside.
Levi might be on a pitch count. Like, you need Ali McNeil to go out there and be dominant and play a lot of snaps.
And to speak to Spenny's point, it was actually I didn't have the same. I had Ali McNeil as my answer, but not for the reasons. Obviously, now you understand why. But my answer was to get pressure from the interior, from a guy like Ali McNeil, what that would mean for Houston, Hutchinson. And now you look at the fact that, Mahomes is mobile. You get a guy like Aleem who, if he can get pressure up front, I know he's against Creed Humphreys.
Changes a lot.
And it changes everything. Now you got a guy who's going to try and run to the outside. And if you got Houston, Hutchinson, so on and so forth, Kaminsky, all the crew, if they could contain Mahomes, now we're talking.
That's
because Mahomes is great in the pocket, but he's damn good scrambling. On the run, throwing the football. So
he's
that's
probably the most underrated mobile quarterback in the league.
No doubt about it. So for me, I'm going to go with Aleem McNeil. Little different reasons than Spenny. I agree with him, but the other part is pressure from the interior. You need it. It'll help your chances greatly. Now, Aiden and company have to do a good job of containing.
So that's going to be mine.
Starts with Aleem McNeil.
Mine's not going to be Aiden, but I'm going to go with John Kaminsky. And kind of to your point there.
Let's go.
Let's
go, Boone.
As John Kaminsky last year, when he was out, you could see visibly how the defensive line struggled a little bit and how the linebackers struggled a little bit because he wasn't out there to help contain. He wasn't out there to make plays. He brings some of the most energy. He is like the C.J. Gardner-Johnson from that secondary in that defensive line. You have if John Kaminsky has a game tonight and helps contain Patrick Mahomes with Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil and these guys, that is the number one key to this game is contain Patrick Mahomes.
Set the edges.
Just
like Randy P
Patrick
says.
Mahomes.
Randy P chimed in. He says they got to set the edge. Can't let Mahomes escape.
And that's John Kaminsky
facts.
right there. We know what Hutch can do. We know who Hutch is. John Kaminsky, we know how big of a piece he is. He's been talked about all offseason. We all love him. Let's see it tonight in the biggest game of the year. I want to see John Kaminsky out there running around the football field. We saw it all preseason, him running around. He was everywhere on the field. I want to see it tonight. He is a huge piece of this Detroit Lions defense tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know people are chiming in too. I know Cameron's saying, what about Charles Harris? Well, we mentioned him, Charles Harris. I think Charles Harris could have a resurgence as well.
Think
like
so?
him a lot. Yeah, resurgence as in
yeah.
he can make an impact. I don't think he's gonna have 10 sacks or nothing like that. But
So in
Charles
tonight's
Harris
game,
ain't bad.
for example, they're kind of weak on the outside of the Chiefs' offensive line as far as their tackles go. So what do you think? I mean, what would you expect out of Charles Harris tonight?
I think he's solid against the run, number one, but also that he's a good pass rusher. He had 7.5 sacks the year he got here. He doesn't have to have that same production, but Charles Harris, Aiden Hutchinson, those guys as a tandem. But I think Charles Harris will have an impact. If he has a sack tonight, I won't be shocked. We got Kool-Aid joining us though. Shout
What
out
up,
to
though?
Kool-Aid.
Let's go, Kool-Aid.
And look, and coming up behind him, we got Braylon too walking in. Kool-Aid, I want to ask you.
yeah.
I want to ask you, man.
Yes, sir.
Your confidence level tonight. What are you feeling?
My
You
confidence
excited?
level. Look, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. What's good, bro? You guys already know, man. Pistons season is like I got to be a professional. Lions season, I can finally be a fan, man. I can just go all in. And this is finally one of those seasons where I asked Terry Foster this too. Is this the season? Is this the year where we can finally look at the Lions like the Patriots were able to look at their team for years?
Ooh.
The San Francisco 49ers. Like, yeah, this squad is going to push the button. They're going to take care of business, man. And they're going to go out there and they're going to look good doing it as well. That's what I'm hoping to see, man. And I'm excited. I think they're going to do it. I think they are. But Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they're still on that other sideline. And I've never known their DNA to be just lay down.
No.
And what did Terry say today on the show? It's that he just doesn't feel like the Detroit Lions are going to be good this year. He has that feeling where it's for years to come with this regime. That's what Kool-Aid. I'm pumped for that because we haven't had that in a while in Detroit, to where we've had a regime and an organization that is like building something special. And that's what's happening right now with this Detroit Lions team.
Bro, that's why I'm kind of chuckling, man. It's just to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, from the owner to the GM to the coach to the players to the game plan, we got full confidence in this Detroit Lions team. And I honestly, man, as a long time follower of the Lions, this is the first time I can say I have ever seen this within this organization.
That's facts.
Ever. That's why.
I asked all day, but I haven't heard your answer. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, all healthy today. You think the Lions would still win this game?
Be honest.
Be brutal, because there's a lot of people that have this. It's the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I would say no, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
If they were healthy, I would say no.
That's a tough one, man. I think that the Lions would battle, but on the road in Arrowhead with the crowd going crazy, I just see whether it be the Chiefs just doing what they do or the NFL doing what it usually does and just finding some way to make sure that the poster boys can have some type of victory over the Lions.
Yeah.
I would see that really being a factor. I just do. But tonight, I'm hoping it's not, man. I'm hoping it's not.
And shout out to Seth Floyd, by the way, donating $5. He says, "Let's go, boys! I got
Shout out
Lions
to
winning
everybody.
51-45. Bold prediction. Big game from Gibbs and Laporte."
Can we throw it out there real quick? We got 1,400 people watching. Appreciate that. Can we hit the like button?
Yeah, my
what up,
lord.
though?
Can we smack that like button?
What is it at?
It's at like 225 right now.
225.
Okay, what's the number?
We're about to kick off for Lions game day.
Let's get
It's
to, like,
7:07
600
right now.
tonight.
By 7:20, let's get to 500. Okay,
We have to.
Let's get to 500.
Let's go.
Everyone right now, stop what you're doing and just smack it. Just hit it. I just did it.
Let's see. Truth Teller 2011 says Detroit nearly beat the Chiefs if not for a bad call with a lesser roster. That was with Matt Patricia.
Yep.
But again, I hate comparing like that game to this. It's so different.
But he just said it, though.
But Mahomes is older. He's more mature. He's more experienced. It's still Andy freaking Reid. Like, I don't know. I get what he's saying though.
But his comment just said it though. Like, and that's what I was saying. If they were full of strength, I could see the Lions either losing because they went in there and just rough shot, or because what he said. What did he say? A penalty, a bad call. That's what happened last time. But tonight, this season is the season that I want to see the Lions go out there. Terry Foster, the heavyweights, even more, man. They've been burying the same old Lions. This is the year where that rhetoric has to be gone.
Yeah.
The brand new Lions
With
has
the
to
Buffs.
be. I'm serious, bro. It's an occasion. It's an occasion. That's what we got it out, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Everybody here pre-gaming. I'm serious. Like, it's time. It's time.
Hey,
Like,
we should've got
go
it.
out there and do what it do.
We should have got a same old Lions T-shirt and burned it out in the parking lot.
my
to start
It's still
the game.
time. It's still
It's like
time
a
for that. I'm
ritual.
We
serious.
should have done that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to act like the Chiefs. Yeah, I don't want to act like the Chiefs are pushovers, man. Like, I don't. I still think they're going to come out here and have a game plan. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, like, look, bro, they're going to have a game plan. They're going to have something ready. But I want to see the Lions go out there and really, really put their foot in the ground and push the way that Dan Campbell has been saying that they're going to. I want to see Jared Goff go out there, and they said he can make any throw that they ask him to. I want to see him be that guy tonight. Everyone keeps talking about what Patrick Mahomes can be on the other side. I want to see the conversation and the narrative be about what Jared Goff was
I love
tonight.
that.
That's what I want.
I love
Hey,
that.
that's the energy I need,
Braylon
man.
approves.
I mean,
Hey.
Braylon, yeah,
Yeah,
sit in the
you know,
chair real
Bray-
quick.
Bray-
Yeah, Bray, come talk to the people.
Braylon's going to join
Let's go,
us,
Braylon.
talk some Lions
I
football.
don't know if I quite have the energy the Kool-Aid had, man.
Yeah, he brought the juice, Bray. I mean, you.
No, actually, I bought the Corona.
Oh, you bought the literal
Technically, I'm
juice.
off the show, so you got
Yeah, Braylon working OT. How you feeling, Bray?
You got the Lions
What's
gear
on your mind?
feeling good. You know, I'm excited to see what the Lions are going to do. Excited to see you guys work tonight. Excited to see Jeff Iafrate and the Woodward Sports crew, Broder up there, Booner, excuse me. But as it relates to the game, I want the same thing Kool-Aid said. Like, I've heard a lot about what they did in the offseason. I heard a lot about what they did in the draft. I heard about a lot of last 10 games of the season. I heard about Jared Goff. I have heard it all. I just want to see it come to fruition. I think the best thing that I want to see, too, is just the attitude. I think, you know, like once you start to get in the spaces that the Lions are in now, when you become a good team, you don't go into certain situations the same. Like when you're watching the team going to Arrowhead, like you shouldn't see the same look in Jared Goff's face as 2 years ago when they went to Green Bay. They played Lambeau on Monday night. You shouldn't see the same look in Dan Campbell's face as last year when they were playing Buffalo on Thanksgiving. You shouldn't see those same looks anymore because this is a different energy.
Yeah.
This is the mindset. This is something that you guys now believe in. Everybody's told you, and you said that you are humble, you're ready. So I just want to see that energy when you're into the field. Like, they're not playing against the Super Bowl champs. They're playing against another NFL team.
I want to ask you a question because we answered it all individually. If you had to pick one player for the Lions, offensively and defensively, that you need, or the Lions need, to have a big game, we'll start offensively. Well, besides Jared, of course, but who you going with? Who needs to show out tonight?
On the offensive side,
Yes,
it's Jahmyr
sir.
Gibbs.
There you go.
Let's
Jahmyr
go. That's
Gibbs.
my guy.
Yeah, what about defensively? Give me
It's
one.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I can tell you why.
Well, tell me
but,
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, tell me about him.
Oh, no, I won't take the show. Just Jahmyr Gibbs is, you know, we talk about what he can do. We talk about how explosive he was at Georgia Tech. That got him to Alabama. That got him to the Detroit Lions. Talking about catching out of the backfield. I mean, he's a guy. You know, we've talked. They got plays in there for him outside of just running the football, and he's going to split time. Like, bro, we moved up to get you in the draft. Like, they said nobody was taking running backs like that anymore. Running backs didn't serve a purpose. Well, the Detroit Lions absolutely believe that position serves a purpose, so I got to see it out of him. And then on the defensive side, on the defensive side of the ball, I got to see 97 from last year. I got to see 97 from last
There you
year.
go.
I got to see Big Aiden, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, last year he had a phenomenal year. Sauce Gardner just had a slightly better year, but he did something that, you know, it's only been done one other time. I got to see it, but everybody's still talking about, the Watts. They're still talking, well, not the Watts. They're talking about TJ. They're talking about Nick. They're talking about Hassan Reddick. They're talking about Micah Parsons. They're talking about these other guys. This is a new NFL where guys come to the party fast. It doesn't take guys 3 years and 4 years and 5 years to become those type of players. It's year 2. It's year 3. You start to see the names rolling on the list. I need to see that out of Aiden. He's going to be the anchor on that defense. And I want to see him get to the quarterback tonight.
Got to show why you took him number 2. I think that for Aiden, too, to Bray's point, he's got to cement himself to be in that top 10.
It's that
That's what it is.
It's that year 2 jump that we have to see. And if you want to take that year 2 jump, it's instantly week 1 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick
All
Mahomes.
eyes watching.
Can you contain and get to the quarterback, the best in the world right now, Patrick Mahomes? That's the biggest question.
And the best players always do what? They perform on the best stage.
They show out.
This is the biggest stage that the Lions have ever been on.
Yep.
You know, you can say that again because it's true. This is the biggest stage that the Detroit Lions have ever been on, minus the NFC Championship game in '91. Like, this is the stage. So this is the time for the best players to show up. And y'all told me he was that guy. You told me that he was Mr. Unanimous. So show up.
No doubt. I love it. My pick defensively, I went with Aleem McNeil.
I love it.
Aiden, you're absolutely correct in all the points you made. For me, Aleem, I think generating pressure, man, up the middle.
That's what quarterbacks get. That's where they get uncomfortable.
And then you got Aiden, you got Houston, Kaminsky, whoever. You got to set the edges now. Like, now you got a guy in Mahomes who's just as dangerous in the pocket as he is out of the pocket. So I love it.
Let me ask you this one question. I asked it on the show earlier, and I want to ask you guys too.
What's up?
Lions go in there Arrowhead tonight. Lions get a win. Let's say Lions get a comfortable win too. Does that now make the Detroit Lions the number 1 seed in the NFC to you? If you do the power rankings on Tuesday, does that a win in Arrowhead against the Chiefs, does that now vault them to number 1 in the power rankings in the NFC?
I would say, and here's the tough part of it, because I still think that would be the most impressive win in week 1. But the context without having Chris Jones and Kelsey, I would put them number 1 because beating the Chiefs, you have Andy Reid and Mahomes. If those two are together still, it's still impressive.
In Arrowhead.
In Arrowhead, too, on the road.
I think seeing how the 49ers do, especially with Nick
They'll
Bosa
lose
back.
in week 1.
If they do win week 1, I think you wait till week 2. Yeah. And if the Detroit Lions come home and beat the Seahawks after winning at Arrowhead, you're 2-0. You're instantly right now. The Detroit Lions are the #1 team in the NFC, and they're the team to beat, in my opinion.
No question.
If you start 2-0 at Arrowhead and versus another kind of playoff team with the Seahawks, I would put them #1 after week 2 instantly.
And you're saying power ranking, right? Like you're right.
I'm saying like power rankings. Power rankings in the NFC.
Yeah.
I'll make you a
You're
promise now. This is the last thing I'll say. I'll let you guys get back to it. If the Lions start off 2-0, which means they beat Kansas City and Arrowhead, and they come back and beat Seattle at home, and they revenge last year's loss, Lions aren't losing for a very long time because
you think they
it's
go on
all
run
about
after that?
momentum. Like football is about momentum. You start off at Arrowhead and you beat the Chiefs. You know what that does when you come back home and then beat Seattle, another really good team at home. That means you've won. You can play with the best because you've become in that category. But 2, you also have the presence of mind to stay in the moment as opposed to focus on one loss. If they win 2 in a row,
the confidence, man.
I don't think they face another challenge until the Ravens and the Chargers. Yeah?
I'm with you.
I agree with that, actually. Yeah, the Ravens is that next challenge.
2 toughest games through the first chunk of your schedule. So one of those on the road, that's one of the questions that Dan, this team has to answer. I mean, can you keep up what you did the second half of last year? We'll find out. Thanks, Bray, for taking the time, man. Look at you joining us on the pregame show.
Let's go, Bray.
Gracing us with
You know what time it is.
Man. Big time. Don't forget, he'll be here. The whole crew will be here. Braylon, so on and so forth for the watch party. So stick around for that after the pregame
That's
show.
going to be fun, too.
It'll be a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. People are chiming in here in the chat. Wolverine Elite, Hutch is better than Allen. Talking about Jared Allen as well there. And for all the people they're giving their scores right now, because people are going in, Logan says 17-14 KC. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game, quite frankly, if I'm being real with you. I don't. 17-14 is too low, man.
17-14 is way
I said
too low.
you got to score at least 24 to beat the Chiefs, maybe 27.
Yeah,
maybe that's being friendly.
If you just go look at their games last year, even their losses last year and even the year before, 80% of those games, you have to score 24 points at least to beat this Chiefs team, and that's been proven. Obviously, taken out of context with Chris Jones out, with no #1 weapon for Patrick Mahomes, but you still have to put points up to beat Patrick Mahomes' Andy Reid offense. That's still gonna be a factor there.
Look at this one. Rich Diana says Lions fans think they'll win and Chiefs fans think they'll win. Well, somebody's wrong.
That's
Somebody's dead wrong.
Well,
that is a fact.
Lucas, you'd argue it's the Chiefs fans.
I would demand it because I would say, yeah, you got a point if you were fully healthy, but I'm sorry, like this could sound like a lot of Lions slappy talk because it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, but the situation and the formula that the Lions have cooked up as far as their personnel, this is a very winnable game for the Lions. And from what you saw that back half of the season, there's no reason not to believe on him. Now you add in the free agency class, the rookie draft class. There's full belief for the Detroit Lions right now, and it's not for ignorant reasons. It's for reasons that we have seen over time. It's just like right when you think Brad Holmes is done, he makes another move, even if it's a small move. But you just trust in Holmes, trust in Dan Campbell. It's finally time to trust in the Lions, and I think that's why everybody is so slappy right now. But in reality, like, this is such a winnable game for the Lions now that they don't have Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. I'm sorry, it just is.
It is. It is. And I do want to bring up the point, too. You guys did on the morning show have a Kansas City beat reporter. And if we're going to talk about, hey, Chiefs fans, obviously, we're going to win. Lions fans, we're going to win. If you watched that, and I watched it live this morning, I didn't get any, I gained less confidence for the Kansas City Chiefs listening to the reporter you guys spoke with this morning. He didn't seem that confidence in a lot. When you guys broke down the different matchups, the different kind of going into the game, hey, do you think the Chiefs will win? Obviously, he's going to say, yeah. There was no confidence behind that. His reasoning, to me, didn't feel like that. And for us on our side, we know what the Detroit Lions have built. Obviously, national media has not got all national media has gotten a hold of what that secondary now looks like with this defensive line, the depth it has, the offense, the weapons, that top 5 offense kind of coming back. But I just didn't feel comfortable with the reporter that you guys had on. Great interview, great person, great dude. I did just feel like, though, that kind of the way he was saying that he knew the secondary that it's going to be tough. He knows kind of the pressure that the Detroit Lions are going to put on the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, and you could tell 100% that he was like, yeah, there's something happened. There's something coming into Kansas City tonight. and we are all here a little bit worried about this.
Yeah. It felt,
It was very known
it
and very.
felt like the Chiefs should win because they always do.
Yes.
It wasn't. There was not any reasoning.
Every time there was
besides
a
Mahomes,
reason, I was like, "That's
and
kind
he was.
of on
And
our
by the way,
side.
he was great.
He was
I don't wanna-
unreal. It was unreal.
He was great. Giving us. We brought him on for more information on the Chiefs side of things. He provided great information. But joining us now. Sorry, Lucas. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, just like how you guys were saying, when you hear Lions versus Chiefs, you go Chiefs. You
Right.
thinking. But if you break down the X's and O's of this game and factor in the fact that Matt Nagy is now calling the plays, not Eric Bieniemy, who has been there for years, it's gonna, like, you gotta take that into account. And once you do, the meter starts going from Chiefs. It starts going, Detroit,
Yes.
Detroit. Oh, Travis Kelce's out. Detroit. And that's just common sense in my mind. I get Patrick Mahomes on the other side, but let's not act like Detroit does not have dogs on the roster. That hasn't been the case over previous years.
Vegas showed it too. It went from 6 to 4, right? Or 4.5 now. You give Vegas always gives the home team what, 2 points? So really, if it's a neutral site, it's about sitting there at 2.5, 2 points.
Basically like a pick 'em.
Yes. So that's kind of, Vegas right now is looking at this game as basically almost a pick 'em game. It's almost there. It's 1 or 2 points away. I think Kansas City Chiefs fan. I text a few people that I know are fans, and
Kansas City Chiefs
they're
fans.
a little nervous.
I see Uncle Maz rolling up. I see Uncle Maz pulling up to the studio right now in the background. But joining us,
Mr. Tom.
Speaking of Kansas City Chiefs fans,
Come on!
the Mahomes
What is?
flannel.
How you doing, Sam? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. As you can see, I've already started.
Oh, see, Sam's indulging in some nice beer.
Oh, yes.
What are your thoughts, your confidence level, and kind of give your score prediction again for maybe people who didn't.
All right, so my confidence level is very high in the Lions because quite simply the Chiefs are no longer the Monstars if you take away their best skill position player by a mile in Travis Kelce, the single greatest tight end to ever play NFL football who was first-team All-Pro last year, and their best defensive player by a mile and the first-team defensive tackle last year in Chris Jones. There is not a team in the history of the NFL, I don't care how great they are, that can survive the loss of their best skill position player and their best defensive player and just be the same. And I think, especially with Chris Jones being out, it definitely gives a decided advantage to that Lions offensive line versus that Chiefs defensive line starting Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, Derek Nottie, and Tershawn Wharton. I think the Lions will have no trouble in absolutely manhandling that Chiefs defensive line, and the Lions will be able to run the football down their throats. And also, I heard your guys' discussion about the Lions defensive backs versus the Chiefs wide receivers. I think the Lions, I agree more with Spencer than you guys. The Lions have such an advantage that it's not even close. The Chiefs do not have a top 30 wide receiver in the NFL right now. Kadarius Toney is probably their most talented. He's had some injury issues, and even he's a little dinged up going into this game. Marquez Valdez-Scantling's career high for a season in receiving yards is a whopping 690. Sky Moore had a disappointing rookie year. I know you guys are all talking about, we've seen some things from Sky Moore. Really? I didn't see a whole lot besides a punt return in the AFC Championship game and a wide open touchdown in the Super Bowl. We all know about that Lions secondary. Who cares that Emmanuel Mosley is out? We'd like to have him. That's fine, all well and good. Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, and Tracy Walker. They are going to...
Just don't mention Will Harris.
I will not mention Will Harris because Will Harris shouldn't be on the team, but that's another story for another day.
Look at, man, Flannel, he came in hot.
Yes.
He was ready.
He came in hot. And look at some of the comments that are already coming in. Mike says, stop making sense, Sam. I'm supposed to hate you.
There's no flannel derangement syndrome going on.
Denver Blair says, thank you, Sam. Uncle Neil Soft Feet says, let flannel cook.
I'm just saying,
and then
Flannel did come in here and start cooking instantly.
Lucchini says, I'm surprised Sam didn't fly to Arrowhead to cover for Kelce. I mean, there's that too. I don't know. Sam's with us.
You're surprised that Flannel didn't give him like the bone that Kelce had bruised. You're surprised Flannel didn't sacrifice it for Kelce.
How many receptions and yards would Flannel Sam have in the game tonight?
Oh, dude, I mean,
if he suited up.
Oh, if I suit up for the Chiefs?
One for 20?
Oh, I wouldn't get 20. I would probably get 4 or something like that.
Hey, honest
Okay,
man.
that's
Honest
good.
man.
I'll take that.
Now, Sam, I want to ask you, because I asked everybody this question, and it's your turn. One player offensively for the Lions that needs to have a big game besides Jared Goff.
I am good. I mean, should I
And
say?
Amon-Ra St.
Okay,
Brown.
fine. I was about to say Amon-Ra
I said
St.
it,
Brown.
yeah, but I guess we won't count the most important players.
You know what? I think it has to be David Montgomery for me because the line
like
is
that
going to
too.
create such a push that David Montgomery a lot of times is going to be able to get 3 or 4 yards before he is even touched. He just needs to hit the holes and run hard and maybe break a couple of tackles by Nick Bolton and Willie Gay. And I predict, even though I'm not as high on David Montgomery as some, in this particular game behind this offensive line versus that putrid Chiefs defensive line without Chris Jones, I could see him getting 20 carries for 100 and some yards. I think David Montgomery has a big game.
Chad Johnson joining and chiming in here. Shout out to Chad. He says, let's just hope that Goff doesn't fumble twice. Smallest hands of any quarterback in the league. Jeez, Chad from the top ropes, man.
Take care of the rock.
But the thing is,
Take care of the rock.
But is he wrong? He's not wrong.
he's
well,
not wrong at all.
here's the problem, though. Jared Goff was actually very, very good at taking care of the football last year,
And there's-
especially in the second half of the season.
There's that.
And that's the thing. I don't want to just – I know we go off of Jared Goff and his 3 seasons prior to 2022 where he was very, very mid at best at times, and he was turnover prone. But last year, 7 interceptions. No interceptions. I believe 1 interception in the last 10 games. Was it 0 or 1?
I think
Something
it might
like
have been
that.
0.
Yeah, I would
It's
like.
insane.
I would like to think that Jared Goff, moving forward, he's only 28 years old, and I think that's what gets kind of lost with certain guys. Is 2 bad years for Goff, he's done. Get him out of here. Like, the guy's 28. Like, I think there's still progression for him. We'll see. Payday coming up. The Lions pay him or not.
I'm just
He's
at
gotta
the point
perform
to
this
where
season.
I'm at the point though to where like a game like this, like we just need Jared Goff to be here. Like
Yeah.
just play your game. Like don't try and go be Patrick Mahomes and don't go fumble the ball twice and create turnovers to give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. Just be solid. Go out there, play solid football. Let the defense take care of Patrick Mahomes and let your weapons just go to work.
No, this isn't about like Mahomes and Goff.
It's not at
I don't want
all.
that to be the story. Like Goff
No.
has to play up to Mahomes. All Goff needs to do is get the ball out. Don't turn the ball over. Get the ball out quickly. Don't turn the ball over. Like that's it for him. Just get the ball to the playmakers. Get the ball to guys that can make plays.
Yes, that's
End
all
of
he needs to
story.
do all season too.
Yeah, and he's going to have a
That's the
clean
Jared
pocket,
Goff we need
I
all
think.
season.
Absolutely, and I think Jared Goff will have a clean enough pocket to do just that.
quarterback.
There you go. Like Mike Gentry just queued up there
Flannel,
with
I
the
got a
audio
question
bite.
for you.
Yes, sir.
As of course you being the diehard Mahomes fanatic here.
Yes.
Who do you think has more passing yards tonight? So that's a good. You want to give that. That's like a good accountable there. And 2, who do you think has more turnovers tonight? Jared Goff or Patrick Mahomes? So who has more passing yards, and then who has more turnovers?
It's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. I think Patrick Mahomes will have more passing yards just because I think the Lions actually could get off to a lead. And I think they're going to try to control the clock and run the football. I think it is a good thing for the Chiefs, for the Lions too, if Patrick Mahomes has to play from behind and gets more passing yards. As far as turnovers go, God, you know what? I think they both have 1 interception. I know that's a little bit of a vanilla take, but I don't necessarily. Patrick Mahomes, we all know one thing about him. In most games, he'll put the ball up for grabs at least one time. And I think with C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kirby Joseph or Brian Branch or even a guy like Cam Sutton, they're back there to just go after the ball, and I think they'll get one. But I also don't necessarily count on Jared Goff breaking some kind of record for passing attempts without an interception. He's never shown that he's historically great at taking care of the football. I think he'll throw 1.
You want to put that in a poll too?
Which one?
That's
Your question.
Oh yeah.
It's a great question.
I think
want
the
the people
interception one's
to
great.
chime
I think
in
there's
on
a
that.
chance that we see Patrick Mahomes with an interception and not Jared Goff. I do think that's a serious chance. Like I said earlier, with the secondary of the Detroit Lions and kind of putting pressure on Jared Goff with this defensive line, knowing, obviously, I don't really care about the stat that Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown a touchdown on week 1, and that stat just to me just goes out the window in a game like tonight. But Jared Goff, on the other end, he has this streak going. The secondary of the Chiefs isn't as good as this Lions secondary, and you just have reliable weapons for Goff. The offensive line's going to put so much protection on Goff that he's going to have time to throw. He's going to have time to take care of the ball and just be smart and throw the ball away. He doesn't have to force anything with this offensive line he has. Mahomes is going to have to.
Yep. And I'm with Booner on that, especially who he's matching up with. This Lions secondary, they have to prove it, but on paper they got dudes. Now, what I will say is, this is why 2 things, and I said this earlier, Sam. Brad Holmes built the secondary to take the ball away.
Sure.
Yes.
That's what they're built to do. Now, the other part of that is he also built this defense to help the offense. Last year, if Jared threw a pick, And that was it. They were scoring. Now you have a defense where hopefully this season, if there is a mistake, if there's a fumble, a key interception, this defense can bail you out because through Dan's tenure here, there has not been a defense yet that has been able to bail out the offense. It's always been the other way around. What do you think about that?
No, you're 100% right, which is why I think this year, given the upgrades made at secondary, given the draft picks of Jack Campbell and Brian Branch, and even given the second-year improvements of guys like Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, Kirby Joseph, this is a Lions defense. I believe their floor is top 15. I think their absolute ceiling is the bottom half of the top 10. And this is without a shadow of a doubt the best defense the Lions have had in years, and certainly with the most potential. And one thing that I wanted to respond to, especially to something that Booner said and Jeff, kind of combine it. When you look at what Patrick Mahomes has done in his first 5 season openers, what have all of those season openers had in common? He's had Travis Kelce. What have 4 of them had in common? He's had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So, and to go off of your point too, Jeff, is that this is the worst in terms of personnel-wise a Kansas City Chiefs offense has looked in like 5 years and probably will look for maybe another 5 years. So the defense's job isn't even as difficult as you'd think going against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are usually the Monstars fully healthy, but without Travis Kelce on offense and Chris Jones on defense, they are no longer the Monstars.
No question. I want to get to this. This is an interesting point by Alpha Dog here, and then we'll get to the conversation about what I'm about to bring up. But the other part of it, we'll get to the bets in a little bit here because we got 30 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Alpha Dog says, if the Lions lose this game, it will be the most same-old Lions-ish I've ever seen. No Travis Kelce, no Chris Jones, and we are the favorite to win.
I hate
Mahomes
that
show.
comment.
Now,
But is that comment wrong?
No.
That comment's not wrong. I'm sorry.
No.
The same
Why shouldn't they? The only game in Mahomes' career, he's without Kelce and Chris Jones. Both.
It's
week 1. I think you have the best shot facing the Chiefs week 1. Why can't the Lions win?
They can win.
And they should.
They should, yes, they can.
They
but
should.
Just to automatically week 1 throughout the same old Lions narrative.
I wouldn't go that far, but it would be disappointing.
If you take that out of the comment, I would be fine with that comment. But we just said it a little bit ago, whether they win or lose tonight. The same old Lions with this new regime is gone. No one cares about that anymore. If we lose tonight, who cares about same old Lions? It's over. We don't care. We move on from it. They just went 8-2 and beat Green Bay at Lambeau to keep them out. That narrative is gone right now. Now, if they go lose and start 1-6 again, maybe we can have that conversation again. That is very fair.
But can we admit that, yeah, maybe in week 2 that would change, but for week 1 of the NFL season to come off.
That's just an overreaction at that point to go same old Lions.
I wouldn't say
it's
same old
It's not the
Lions.
same old Lions, but he said same old Lions. Like, this would be the most same old Lions-ish we've ever seen.
I'm sorry,
not
that
saying
word
that
triggers
they
me a
are.
little bit.
You can't lie, though, Booner. You would be extremely disappointed
I would
if they
be very
lost tonight.
disappointed.
At this
But
point-
if it's a good game and it's like comes down to the end and there was really nothing that
It's 0-1.
so you're basically
You
just
can
saying
talk
it's a
about all the
guarantee that they go
storylines you
into the
want.
toughest place to play in the NFL.
They hung in there. They showed fight. You're 0-1, bud.
You're
Congratulations.
still playing the defending champs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid at Arrowhead.
I understand that.
It is, but
So
it's
then
not.
at that point, no,
It's
to
not
your
the
guys'
Super Bowl
point, if
champs
they
though
win the
anymore,
game,
Booner.
they get no credit.
No, that's not what we're saying, because you got to give some credit if they lose, but at the same time you got to give the same credit if they win. So you got to go both ways. If you're going to give them immense applause if
so
they
don't
win
give
the
them as
game,
much credit if
which
they
I'm
win.
going to, because it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I'm not listening.
But at the same time, you're losing to the Super Bowl champions without 2 of the 3 key Super Bowl pieces. And that
Lucas,
has
did you
to
just
count
hear
to
what you
something.
said? That you're going to give them all the credit in the world if they win this game, but you're going to go at them if they lose it.
I didn't say it would go. You have to hold them accountable. If
Exactly.
They win. So what do you mean? That would be the basic same old Lion stuff in the world. To go out there week 1 with all this momentum. This is our year. You get the shot everybody wants week 1.
Yes.
Against the Super Bowl champions, which they're not right now. I'm
Prime
sorry.
time.
No Kelce, no Jones, no Bieniemy, no Juju even. If you're going to talk about the Super Bowl champions, they don't have him either. So you're going to say that. They're not the Super Bowl champions. By definition, they are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be happy when the Lions go in week 1, which I think they will, to Arrowhead and win.
It's
But if
still
they
Patrick
don't,
Mahomes.
you have
It's
to be.
still
That sounds
Andy
like-
Reid, and you're still at Arrowhead. I
You
get it.
still are.
I'm with
but
you
it's
guys.
You even admit that
my-
they should be the favorites right now, right?
It's a pick. It should be a pick-up game right now.
That is not the case going into week 1. That was not before this week. That was not the case. It was
The
Chiefs
same
all the
old
way. It was
saying that
Chiefs all
there's
the
the
way.
same old Lions if they lose this game tonight
No,
is
that's
absolutely
same old Lions
insane.
Hold on.
activity.
Yes, it is because people are chiming in now, and I agree with a lot of what people are saying, and I don't want to read into it.
Like, I'm going to be pissed off if they lose the game. Yes.
Well, now he's saying it.
No, I will be pissed off. Like, I want them to
Because
win the
that's the
game.
same shit
Look
we've
at
had all
my. I
along.
have the score prediction them to win the game that we're going to go
Would that
over.
not be the
I'm going to
same-
be pissed off if they lose the game.
Because that's the
but it's
same
not the
shit.
same old Lions if they
That would
lose
be,
this game.
if the Lions lose this game, this would be the same shit we've been going through our whole lives. It would, and that's the same old Lions.
They're still
activity.
underdogs on the road right now.
Hold on, let me read this. Let me read a couple comments here. Dr. Detroit says, shout out to him by the way. He's been showing support for quite some time. Been a fan since 1971. Yeah, SOL isn't dead till they kill it. Like, is he wrong?
It's a
We
completely
can say,
different regime, man.
but dude,
I get
they
it.
haven't done anything yet.
I get it. I get it.
So
I
if
get
you
the
start the
fans.
season-
But when you just sit here and have that mindset that it's still there, it's going to be there forever. Get rid of it.
That's how you do
Move
it.
it on.
You do it by beating the Chiefs tonight, but if you don't, it's still there.
I think they're going to win the game. I'm
So-
just the
so
same old
what? But
Lions.
if
Let's
they
not
don't?
have that conversation.
It's all good.
We all love each other.
Regardless,
This is
I want to get to the bets. Let's get to them,
Oh,
Booner.
yes.
I know you got some things cooking up for us. I got a little parlay I put in, and you can watch the watch-along party we're going to have and see us raging or celebrating, no matter what happens with our money, because it is on the line. Tune in for that. It'll be a lot of fun. But, Booner, talk to me. What do you got for us today?
We've got a lot of things going on tonight with the game. I do want to, real quick, if we can in the chat, everyone just throw your best bets in there. I want to see kind of what people are playing tonight. Are you taking the over, the under? What player props do you have? Touchdown scores, that's a big one. I want to kind of see who everyone has here. But I have a few bets here tonight. I'm going to start with my number one here, and we can go around the room and get bets. But my favorite play of the night, the whole Woodward has it. People have been texting me about it. I've had people nationally that aren't even involved with the game text me and said that they love this bet.
What is it?
David Montgomery touchdown, anytime touchdown,
You're
plus
locking it?
120. David Montgomery gets in the end zone tonight for the Detroit Lions. We know what Jamal did last year. David Montgomery's filling in that role, and he's going to score tonight. He's going to have multiple chances in the red zone to get goal line to score tonight. I see David Montgomery getting in there. Do you guys have any other? What best bets you guys have?
Well,
I have more. I just want to kind of
Let's get
go
through
around the room.
yours, and then because all I have is my parlay. So get through all yours, and then I'll throw out my parlay. But what else you got for us?
Another one I have tonight. Defensively, Aiden Hutchinson
Talk to me.
to get one sack tonight,
you
plus
go.
170. I know everyone in the chat right now thinks Aiden Hutchinson is going to get a sack tonight. He will take down
Sam
Patrick.
Flannel is somewhere with a boner, but
He
continue.
is. I see him right around the corner here. I don't know if he would have a boner or what, because he likes
What are we
Patrick
doing,
Mahomes
boys?
too. But he's going to take Patrick Mahomes down tonight one time, plus 170. Also, let me see, what else do we have here? I talked about it on the heavyweights. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 receptions. Jahmyr Gibbs over 31.5 receiving yards. And that's all my player props for tonight, kind of best bets. I do have kind of my score prediction, which will lead into kind of a favorite play. But my number one play tonight is just David Montgomery. I do have my parlay too as well.
Which one is it? Does it start off with D-Mont 50, then Jahmyr?
D-Mont 50. Yeah, throw that up there, please.
Owner's parlay.
This is the lock parlay of the night, fellas.
The lock.
Look at that. I did get a little bit of a profit boost, but it's at plus 793. David Montgomery behind this beautiful Detroit Lions offensive line to get just 50 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs will have at least one catch for 25 yards tonight. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 receptions. And just like I said, the one, the only David Montgomery gets the Detroit Lions 6
There you
points
go.
tonight.
I
That
like it.
is the lock parlay. If you guys want to ride that, ride it. Go on Twitter and tweet at me and at Woodward Sports that you have that.
Got to
so we
ask
know
for
you're
consent
riding.
though first. Now, let me.
What happened, JB?
What happened?
Oh, never mind.
What happened?
You gotta ask for consent for them to. Never mind.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Can you throw out
I
my?
love everyone.
Throw up my parlay, and then I want the people to vote. If I win this vote, I get your show on weekends.
Which,
No, I'm
did
kidding.
you start off with 5+ sacks? Or which one was yours?
No, I have. It starts Lions money line. Lions money
Let
line.
me find her. I'll go find her.
I sent it in the morning Woodward show, our chat, and Mike did help me with this because
Always do.
he does. My man cooks for me. I can't lie. He cooks up some parlays. I say, Mike, what are you cooking up? I look at it and I copy it. You know. Give me
I'm
not
we're a
great.
team, we're a
Listen,
team.
I'm not the guy
You
that
think about it
I'm
together,
not.
though.
That's why I don't have my own betting show. I'm not the guy to go to. But I go to Michael Gentry. I go to Booner. My guys, they help me out. Check out my parlay. Do you have it?
We got like 5 seconds, then it'll be good.
Okay.
Give me 5.
So you're going to
4,
like how this starts.
3,
Now,
2.
it's a little different from Booner's. Here's my parlay. What do you think? All right, I just dropped $10 on it. It's nothing, just a little something, just to see what we can get out of it. But I want you guys to see
half of my parlay in
Okay,
there.
but look at that. Detroit Lions money line. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown score. David Montgomery, 40+ yards, alternate rushing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I didn't go receptions, but I went yards because I'm more confident in yards.
Don't hate that.
And then, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs receiving yards. You got to hit the over on that. At least the alternate. I got 25+. There you go. It's plus 12, 13.
I'm liking it, Hefe.
It's safe, but I like it.
That's for $10. Walking out of there with 130.
It's the one.
I mean, it has the props that I have. If you just want to kind of get a boost up to plus, 1,200, you might as well take that, add the money line in, and switch to Amon-Ra yards. I love that. I like that as well. I might double down and just do that, just so I can ride with the boys as well. As long as the boys will ride with me on my 4-legger. That's all that I ask.
Hey, yo!
We did have a couple other betting things in there, Lucas. There's 3 other betting things.
Yeah, what you want to talk about first?
So the first one, there's a couple that I saw on one of the sportsbook that had a couple like really long odds, probably like plus 2,000, plus 3,000. There's 2 of them. One is Khalif Raymond. Do you see that one?
I know what you're talking
Yep.
about.
Here we go.
Yeah, if you can pull that up.
up.
These are 2 long odds that I thought were just a little interesting. One, the Detroit Lions sack Patrick Mahomes 5 times. Plus 1,000.
That would be insane.
It would be insane, but that's why look at see the number there? These are long shots.
I actually like the Khalif Raymond one.
And then the second one is
more
my
than a sack.
This is one I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on just in case it does happen. But Khalif Raymond to get a kick return or a punt return for a touchdown.
Lions special teams looking good this preseason,
That
fellas.
is beautiful. Plus 3,000. You put $10 or $100 to win $3,000. $10 to win $300.
Get your money right.
Get you right.
Yeah, especially if it's more odds, or it's better odds for Khalif Raymond, even though I think that's more likely than 5+ sacks. Maybe I'm wrong on that, and I'll happily admit I'm wrong if the Lions can get 5 sacks on Mahomes.
I wonder if there's ever. I don't even know if Patrick Mahomes has been sacked 5 times in his career. I'm about to.
Well,
look
that's
it
a
up.
great
that
question.
Tampa Bay Super Bowl.
Yeah, it felt like it.
He probably got sacked like 15, but regardless, still a great. If you're going to throw a couple bones on it, I mean, it doesn't hurt. What else you got?
I guess we can do the last one, the interception one. We can skip the sack one since I already gave out Aiden Hutchinson sack tonight at plus 170. But there's the interception one. Who are you guys picking here on this? There's no C.J. Gardner-Johnson. This is the only list I could find. If you had to pick one guy on that list to get an interception, I already know my pick.
You're kidding,
Kirby
right?
Joseph.
No question.
Plus 700.
Plus 700? Are you kidding?
What app is this?
This is that one right here is Barstool.
That's garbage.
There's no other ones
They
that have
have him
interception.
under Brian Cook.
That's called. They do not know ball, Lucas. Would you say that?
Obviously not.
Okay.
Or no, I guess no. He's right. He's in between Snead and Cook. My bad, but either way, it's egregious.
Plus 700 to get one pick. That.
Go get your money. Go get your money.
If you're gonna sprinkle a little bit on it, I like Kirby Joseph. If you're talking out of those guys, I'm going Kirby.
Yeah, I'm going Kirby too. I would go C.J. Gardner-Johnson if it was up, but I just could not. I know someone found it earlier. Jesse Adams found one of the bets somewhere. I don't even know, Soaring Eagle or something. But Kirby on that list, I would go Kirby.
But if I'm going out of all the entire secondary, I'm going C.J. for sure.
Yeah.
But he's not on there, like you said. And I believe it was Spencer who dropped this gem. He's had a interception in every Thursday night football game he's played.
Yep.
in.
Only
2
two
games.
of them. Oh my God, my voice
Only
just
2 of them.
shot up to the moon. But
Don't forget though, real quick. Bet of the night, David Montgomery touchdown.
That's
Lock
the one.
it.
Mike, you got any you like?
Because
Because you got a couple in there, dude.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we built that parlay, so some of them are in there. But I do like Gibbs over 3.5 catches. That was another one that I've seen out there. That is another one.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Other than that, I like the parlay that we built. Lions
you.
money line, David Montgomery touchdown, Alton St. Brown's yards down a little bit, but yeah.
Look at Chad Johnson chiming in. My man can bet, by the way.
Yeah.
He's
That is
betting.
the better.
He's talking. I'll tell you that. He says Lions plus 145 to win the North. Attack it.
That's what you want to get
That's
on.
pretty friendly. Plus 145.
It is, because if they do win tonight, that's going to move quick.
Yeah.
That's gonna
the
move
odds
really
are going to
quick.
dip. Those are honestly, kind of what Braylon was saying. Let's say Lions win. Do you think that almost damn near goes to negative? at that point, especially after week 2 if they win.
Yeah, by the end of this week, it will move.
That's the thing. You got to get and Booner, you could speak on this, but you got to get those bets in at least for the season pretty early.
The season ones you can get in early. I mean, you can get those in all offseason. Even though, if you're betting during the week, the Lions, this line, you guys saw the line move from 6.5 at one point all the way down to 4.5. I locked it in as soon as I saw the news for Travis Kelce. I locked in Lions +6 instantly, and then the line moved a couple hours later to 4.5. So, if you're betting, get these lines in early if you really like something, or wait and kind of see the way the line moves and kind of attack there. But yes, these preseason ones, obviously they're going to move throughout the season when teams start winning and start dropping off. That Detroit Lions one's going to move quick.
Look at this one. Taylor says, I've been calling for it all day, but I got Branch 1 sack, 1 INT. 1 sack, 1 interception for Brian Branch to jumpstart Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He's going to be playing that nickel. He could.
Dude, if Brian Branch comes out and has a sack and a pick against Mahomes,
I see Brian Branch getting a sack for sure.
On national TV.
If Brian Branch rolls out there and picks off Mahomes and sacks him,
send that to me.
Put the guy in the Lions Hall of Fame, dude. First game in the NFL, he does that. You kidding me?
Against Patrick Mahomes?
You kidding me?
Fix the hair, Jeff. Fix the hair.
I wish we had 2 of those helmets so we could just go head to head right now. We could do an Oklahoma drill real quick.
Just do that.
Look at Broder's so confused.
I'm
oh, Matt Broder just pulled up. Look at that. Broder's here. Again, everybody, we're going to end in about 15 minutes. We got a little more to get to here, but don't forget, all of you better be there for the watch-along after the stream. We'll be going live when the game starts. All the boys will be in the studio. We'll have it broadcasted. We'll be yelling at each other, arguing, celebrating, crying, whatever the emotion calls for. Tears of joy. Who knows? Be there for the Lions watch-along stream. We'll be doing that every week.
Yes, sir.
Danny G says, Jeff, where's BMG?
He's in the booth.
Right here, Danny.
BMG, Danny G's over there.
No, I'm uploading it. We'll get him.
Is this camera not working?
No, I'm putting up this graphic that's about to blow your guys' minds. You ready? You want to see it?
Let's do it.
Keep cooking.
It says, whoa. Somebody put 155K.
Is that Broder?
On Jared Goff over passing touchdowns tonight.
I think Broder put this bet down.
Let me confirm that was not me. That was not me.
JB's lurking back here. He's been quiet. That might be JB.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys think this is going to hit?
I think it could. I
one
do.
to Amon-Ra St. Brown and 1 to Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think that's Broder's bet, to be honest with you.
Do you lock that in?
I like it.
Yeah, Broder. What do you think about this?
The man in the
Hey!
Welcome.
What's good? Oh, I'm right in the middle of a fantasy football draft right now, so you guys might need to help me. But
that's like a buzzer beater draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right at the end, dude. This stream, you guys have been doing a great job.
I appreciate
having
it.
fun.
Look at we are. I mean, look at you. You got the duo here. Woodward Knights.
It's 8 o'clock, right? Almost.
Congratulations. You were off today because of the Lions.
Yeah.
But moving forward, 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Knights with those two. But Broder, how you feeling? Just about tonight's game, maybe some of your expectations, and then give people your final score.
Yeah, no, I feel great. I'm just excited it's here. I want the Lions to show us something tonight. Show us. There's been so much hype built up. There's been so much preparation this offseason. I want them to give the Chiefs their best effort. So I've got the Lions winning 31-20. 31-20 Lions over Chiefs. I think this is the year. We start. I'm getting a new mic here. How about this? Go Lions.
What? Why did you?
What's going
I thought
on?
Mike was gonna hold it like it was at a press conference.
I got you.
Yeah, but he gave it to you.
Hey, Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Mike's just like, here you go. Here's a mic.
Yeah.
No, and did you give your final score? Sorry,
I did.
was
31-20 Lions over Chiefs.
31-20.
Yes.
So
yes.
I said earlier, and obviously you disagree with me on this. I think if the Lions are going to beat the Chiefs, you got to score at least 27.
Yeah.
24.
31.
Around that number.
That's the
so
key. That's the key number right there. That's the key number.
So there you go. And Broder agrees with me there. I think that's the key. Even without Kelce, even without Chris Jones, who would have made it harder on your offensive line. He's out for the game, fortunately for Lions fans and the players. But that's good. I have them at 28-24. Lions win. I think it's close. it's week one, and I said earlier too, week one's always about adjustments. It's who can make the most adjustments.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have film to go off. You go off last year, but still, you've had the biggest bye week in NFL history here for both teams. So it's going to be about who can make adjustments. Andy Reid's pretty damn good at making adjustments. So there's my I'm a little nervous there. But the other question I want to ask you, and Lucas asked it earlier, and I think you're a good person to ask for this.
I hope.
Who throws more interceptions this game, if there is one? Or what was the question? Who throws one interception?
So, Broder, it's a kind of like a compounded question. So, first part of this question is, who throws for more yards, Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff? That's the first part of it. And then to kind of back off that one, who has more interceptions, Jared Goff or Patrick Mahomes? So who has more passing yards, who has more interceptions?
There you go. Floor's yours.
It's going to be the same quarterback for both my answers.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for more yards. He's going to take more chances, but he's also going to throw more interceptions. I think he ends up with 2. I don't think Jared Goff throws a pick tonight. I think he keeps that streak going. Keeps the streak going. What's he need, 70? 70 to pass it?
He needs like 30 passes.
30?
He's got like 374 consecutive passes without an incompletion.
Insane.
And he needs 30 to break the record?
Yep.
We may be seeing a record broken tonight.
I'm with Broder.
Broder would be the president of that fan club.
I've been very passionate today about Jared Goff taking care of the ball with this offensive line, and I don't know what the secondary is of this Kansas City Chiefs team. I'm telling you, tonight, Jared Goff takes care of the ball. He does not throw an interception, and Patrick Mahomes at least has 1 interception tonight.
No.
And that's just, I feel like it's going to be a little surprising, but that's kind of what it's going to be Patrick Mahomes throwing that interception tonight.
Real quick, I want to say, too, to the chat, start dropping your questions last 10 minutes of the show. I want to do mailbag.
Yeah,
questions for the game, talking points, drop them in there. We'll get to as many as we can. Chad Johnson chime in. He says, does he fumble twice?
Fumble twice.
Smallest hands in the league.
You nervous? You're nervous? Goff's going to cough one up tonight. No turnovers.
He has a better chance of fumbling than throwing an interception.
Well, that's fair.
How about that?
That's fair.
I would like to know if I have smaller hands than Jared Goff. I can guarantee I have the smallest hands at Woodward Sports.
No, there's no way.
Why would you openly brag there?
I'm not bragging,
Gentry,
but
hold
I'm
it
just
up.
being, I'm an honest man.
Speaking of small hands, dark horse MVP candidate Kenny Pickett.
Oh my
God.
Back to you guys.
No Kenny Pickett. I would not let you.
Can we get this right? Broder's 2 MVP picks are Jared Goff and Kenny Pickett.
I did not say they're my MVP picks.
No, moving on.
I've never
Kenny
said
Pickett.
that.
No Kenny Pickett allowed. This is a Lions show. Get that man out of here. What I will say is the first question, who gets the first INT? Patrick Mahomes throws one. Who picks it off? I think I'll go with CJ.
I'm going to go with CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I think if there's one that knows this man, just faced this man in the Super Bowl, it's going to be someone that's familiar with him. I think it's CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I agree. I'm going to go with CJ as well, especially with the Thursday night football stat. I'm going with CJ Gardner-Johnson. The 2 games.
Yeah, the 2 games.
Fletch,
Stats stat.
So valid.
yeah, Fletch lives. Fletch
Stats
lives.
stat, fellas.
Fletch Lives Daily says, thanks for the great pregame. These boys are getting it tonight. Appreciate you, Fletch, for taking the time joining the show. Randy P says, does Sewell catch a pass?
I hope to God
Dude,
not.
If Sewell catches a pass, oh my gosh. That's exactly what I need. I really do. I need not even a pass, a touchdown catch. I need a touchdown catch from Penei Sewell. That'll make my entire night. Let's see here. Let's get some more questions going. Let's see here. Oh, Timothy, for the betting segment you brought up. Kaminsky for over, I don't know what, 0.25 sacks plus 240? What?
Probably because he might get half a sack.
Yeah.
So maybe if he gets
gotcha, I'm stupid.
do you think he gets at least half a sack?
I'm stupid. Yeah, I think he could. Kaminsky.
I think Kaminsky could get a sack.
Listen, that's great odds because here's the thing: is Kaminsky's just gonna be setting the edge, and Mahomes is gonna be scrambling all night. So the fact that Mahomes could be scrambling, if Kaminsky just gets an arm on him, then Hutch, James Houston, and Lee McNeil, if somebody else gets him, that's easy money right there. I would hit that for sure.
What about this one? Kyle says Valdez or Sky yards, meaning who has more yards? Yes. I'll say Sky Moore.
I'm going Sky Moore with that as well.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore. Okay, fair. Marshall says, how many missed field goals by the Lions?
Oh, jeez.
If Flannel
we haven't talked about that yet.
Wait.
I'm sorry, like I'm saying on the stream.
Oh,
on the
stream. You know how I feel about
the yeah. So do you think this game's close? Who has the advantage kicking?
You know.
Kansas City.
Who has the advantage? So do you think that'll be a role in tonight's game? The kicking, the special teams in general.
It potentially could be. I don't want it to be. I think it's going to end up being like a touchdown game. Or actually, Now that I think about it, these these big games like this always do come down to 3 points. A team has a chance to kick a field goal at the end to win it.
And they got Patty Mahomes on the other
Wow.
side. He's got the ball in that last possession, man. I'm just saying.
You know what? Riley Patterson might kick a game winner tonight.
Oh, my God. You never know.
Tell him, Booner.
I'm just saying, it might be like a 35-yard field goal.
I'm not the one debating you.
He might have a chance to kick a game winner tonight. And I'm going to have all the confidence in him.
What about
to do
these?
it.
What about this question
throwing that out
here? Because Steve-O, baby, says, mailbag Jeff, do you agree that in order for the Lions to win, they can't play from behind against Kansas City? Your chances of winning that football game playing from behind decrease significantly. I'll say that.
A chance, though?
You don't want to play from behind. Now, do they have no chance? No, they have a chance. But I don't think the Lions want to play from behind.
No. Well, do you remember last year, the Eagles game?
Nobody does.
You were
That's a stupid
behind-
thing to say. But the Lions, with the passing game, they're not a score quick offense, I don't think, to be able to do that.
No, but do you remember the Eagles game last year? Obviously, it was at home, but you're down, 2 or 3 touchdowns at some point.
Yeah, and then at the end,
they come back. They have 2 different chances: one to get a stop and get the ball back, and 2 to kind of go get points to tie it up or something like that. And they just didn't do it. If you're down and you're behind, yeah, you have a chance. Especially this team that they showed it last year versus Seahawks, Eagles, Bills. You go down a little bit, they do have a chance to come back and win the game. You don't want to put yourself in that position, though.
They want to start out ahead so they can milk that running game and set up the play-action pass.
Yes, there you go. Bingo.
Take advantage of that offensive line.
Who's one of the better quarterbacks in the league at play action? That would be
Number
Mr.
one.
Jared Goff. Brandon says, is anyone worried about the first half being a little rusty, not playing a single drive in preseason? I'm glad we didn't, but just to have a little concern. I wouldn't. Obviously, Dan knows these players more than I do, so his judgment call is probably better. But what I will say is not too many teams, because a lot of teams did play their starters, but not too many teams had 2 joint practices. Good joint practices against 2 good
quality
teams. Good quality teams. So I would say no, Brandon, but you're right. Live game reps in the stadium, that was my concern too, Brandon, but I wouldn't worry about that.
And that's the only reason the Chiefs ended up playing in the preseason game was because they did not do any joint practices. So they were out there. They had to go get live reps versus kind of a full other side there, another team.
Here, I got a question for you guys. Oh, God, I just had it escape me. Oh, if you had to pick, who has more receptions tonight? Jerick McKinnon or Jahmyr Gibbs?
Who has more receptions? I would say McKinnon, because they need him to.
Okay.
Jerick McKinnon, yeah, I agree. He probably goes over receiving yards.
I want to get to a couple more questions. People are chiming in here. John Michael says, who do you all have winning? Which we'll get to that actually right now. We'll do our predictions.
Let's do it.
Scoring the first touchdown. So, scoring the first touchdown, go ahead. I'll say David Montgomery.
First touchdown for the Detroit Lions?
Yep.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'm going to go Josh Reynolds.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Monty will score tonight. That is a lot.
I'll say that now. We'll get to predictions. For me, I'll go 28-24. Lions win. They control the clock. They control the line of scrimmage, which is going to be important as well. And I just think Mahomes against this new look Lions secondary with a lot of unproven guys, he's going to struggle to some extent. Now, what that looks like for Mahomes struggling is another storyline. He could play pretty solid. But I think he's going to be uncomfortable. I think this defensive line is going to cause some issues. I think the linebacker core running sideline to sideline, I like their chances. Now, the question is, can you stop a guy like Sky Moore? Not saying he's a threat, but still, keep these guys. Nobody breaks out. Just shut them all down. We'll see if they can do that. If they do, I think the Lions can win this game. That offensive line is the most important part of this whole game. They're going to dictate the entire football game. Give me the Lions to win 28-24. What do you think?
Boys, like I said earlier when we started the show, this is the best day of my life. The Detroit Lions, and I changed my score prediction. The Detroit Lions will come back to Detroit tomorrow with the victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. 27-24. The under will hit.
Put the helmet on, baby.
Are going to win the football game at Kansas City tonight. The Detroit Lions 27, the Kansas City Chiefs 24.
That's what we like to hear, Boone. That's what we love to hear. We're going to keep it rolling. It's almost like you took the score right out of my mouth. Lions 27, Chiefs 24. David Montgomery helps keep the Chiefs off the field, and the Lions securing the dub.
There you go. What about you, Broder? What do you think? I know you already gave your score, but repeat it for the people. What do you got?
I got Lions 31-20. Lions over the Chiefs.
All wins so far. Mike, don't mess this up. Your mic's muted.
Unmute yourself.
Oh, you messed it up.
31-24 Lions.
31-24 Lions.
Can we
there you
get
go.
someone in here that's picking the Chiefs so we don't have all Lions?
No, no one's allowed.
We don't need it all across the board.
You're not
No.
going to find a person in Detroit picking Chiefs tonight.
I
I'm
want to
sorry.
say, first and foremost, appreciate all of you guys doing the show with me, man. Seriously, I do appreciate it. These are my guys, and they did great today. I want to say,
Love you
number two,
guys.
too, thank you to every single one of you for taking the time right before the Lions game, the freaking Lions game, to join us on this wonderful Thursday night, which, again, watch along, coming soon, right after the stream ends. Stay patient for that. We'll have the entire crew there hanging out, yelling at each other, like I
Lock
said,
in for
crying,
it.
potentially, tears of joy or tears of
Anger,
sadness.
just pure anger and
Could
rage.
be anything. We'll be getting it done. Again, appreciate you guys, man. It's big time that you guys were here to support us. Like the stream before you go, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. For me, it's the Morning Woodward Show. For Booner, 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights. He'll be there
Woodward
as well.
Nights, baby.
And then we got BMG from Big D. We're just plucking everybody from a different show. So I love it. We'll see you guys. Appreciate you all. We'll see you guys next week when the Lions take on the Seattle Seahawks.
Go Lions.
Dude, I understand why they love Jeff so much. He's so corporate, it's crazy. Bro. Bro's a corporate plant.